Chapter 220. Liao Wushuang's family should be quite well off. Otherwise, with a teacher's salary, she might not be able to afford such a high-class apartment. Li Fan had inquired about the price of this place. After all, he used to dream of living in such an apartment so that he wouldn't have to live under someone else's roof. No matter how good Morong Ying's bungalow was, it still belonged to Morong's family. It had nothing to do with him. 360 yuan for a high-class apartment, the monthly rent would be around 5,000 yuan. Buying it would cost at least 1,000,000 yuan. And Liao Wushuang's monthly salary was only around 4,000 yuan. If she relied on her salary to live in this apartment, not only would she have to spend all her salary, but she would also have to pay 1,000 yuan every month. There was also living expenses, such as food, transportation, clothes, and so on. A beauty like Teacher Liao would definitely like to dress up. Just by dressing up, she would be able to earn money. Li Fan calculated in his heart. This Teacher Liao's monthly expenses were at least 10,000 yuan, of which 2,000 yuan was for the car. This was because Teacher Liao drove a BMW Z4 in and out of the school. Although it wasn't a particularly good sports car, it was still expensive for students like Li Fan. Maintaining a BMW would cost at least 2,000 yuan a month, right? After all, Li Fan didn't know much about cars, so he could only give a rough estimate. When Li Fan was about to go upstairs, he was stopped by the security guard. Without an ID card, one couldn't enter this high-class apartment. Remembering that Liao Wushuang seemed to have told him in advance, Li Fan quickly took out his phone and called Liao Wushuang. "Teacher Liao, I'm already downstairs. Wait a moment. I'll go down and pick you up." In less than 5 minutes, a beautiful woman pushed open the security door and walked out. It seemed that because she was at home, Liao Wushuang was dressed very casually. He was wearing a white t-shirt and a pair of blue jeans. Her hair was tied up in a ponytail, and she was wearing pink slippers. Her delicate little toes were exposed, and she seemed to be a bit mischievous. Simple clothes looked different when worn by a beautiful woman with a good figure. The t-shirt was pushed up by Liao Wushuang's breasts, and it felt like it was about to burst. The jeans were also curvy, and the position of the perky buttocks seemed to be wrapped in 2 pieces of watermelon. Liao Wushuang's legs were clamped tightly together, and it was obvious that he was a virgin. I wonder who will be able to enjoy Teacher Liao's wonderful body in the future. Cough, cough. What am I thinking? Is this the time to think about this? Li Fan, you are here to tutor me, not to do other things. Li Fan reminded himself and patted his face. Sorry to keep you waiting. Liao Wushuang tidied her bangs and revealed a guilty smile. Of course not. I just arrived too. Teacher Liao is the one who has to work hard. After school, he still has to give me supplementary lessons. Making up for lessons is one thing. The most important thing is to listen carefully in class. Liao Wushuang said as she led Li Fan inside. The administrator enviously looked at Li Fan, and then his eyes returned to Liao Wushuang's buttocks, watching her as she entered the elevator. You asked for leave again today, and this will delay the class. Liao Wushuang scolded Li Fan. If I say this to you, you might think that I am very annoying. No, teacher is right. Li Fan quickly responded. I am a person who lacks a sense of responsibility and is lazy. I need Teacher Liao to remind me. That's good. You are really a good and considerate child. Liao Wushuang smiled with relief. If you have a bit of ambition, it would be even better. Then your parents will be proud of you. My parents? They went to the Maldives to play. No, it's impossible for them to play in the Maldives for so long. I don't know where they're living now, but I just received a message a while ago that the 2 of them are living in a family hotel in Byzantium, enjoying the beautiful dusk scenery of the entire city. Damn, this kind of life was something that he could only dream of. Forget it. In any case, the 2 of them raised me, so I won't lose anything if they go out and have fun. Come in. The room is not big. Please don't mind. After coming out of the elevator, the room directly opposite is Liao Wushuang's home. She took out the key, opened the room, and walked in with Li Fan. In his imagination, a woman's place should be quite messy. This is something that Li Fan has seen in a book. But this Liao Wushuang's room is very tidy. To be more precise, it is too clean. There is only a sofa and a coffee table in the living room. There is not even a TV hanging on the wall. It is hard to imagine this is a high-class apartment. What are you looking at? Liao Wushuang saw Li Fan looking around and could not help but ask, Teacher, why is this a high-class apartment? It shouldn't feel like a house with only 4 walls. Li Fan could not help but ask, Oh, this place was quite gorgeous before, but I don't like it. Liao Wushuang said, So I asked them to remove all the furniture. It is clean like a home. But this is a bit too clean. Li Fan does not know how to ridicule, living in such a high-class apartment, but using the most simple way to live. Liao Wushuang, Teacher Liao, is she also a weirdo? Let's go through today's lesson first. Liao Wushuang used a hairpin to fix her bangs, then put the book on the coffee table and kneeled in front of Li Fan. Teacher Liao, you like to kneel? Seeing Liao Wushuang's habit, Li Fan is a bit surprised. Yeah, I have stayed abroad for a few years, other than England, America, and Japan for a year. Liao Wushuang explained, I like to kneel, it is good for the body. Moreover, this is not the etiquette of Japan, it is passed down from China. Unfortunately, we modern people have lost this tradition. How should I say? We have lost too much. Only when I go abroad did I realize that many precious things in China can only be found abroad. Teacher Liao always speaks with all kinds of reason. Li Fan could not help but laugh. Listening to Teacher Liao's words really benefited me a lot. Are you mocking, teacher? How could that be? I respect teacher from the bottom of my heart. Li Fan quickly patted his chest and said, If you don't believe me, listen to my heart. How could I hear that? Liao Wushuang covered her mouth and chuckled. But, do you really respect me from the bottom of your heart? Of course, heaven and earth can bear witness. A man's mouth really can't be trusted. As Liao Wushuang spoke, she took out a letter from a book. I have the evidence of your trickery here. Chapter 221. Evidence of slyness? Li Fan froze for a moment. Then he looked at the envelope and vaguely felt that it was familiar. Wait, why is it so familiar? I seem to have seen this envelope somewhere. This is a bit bad. Teacher Liao wouldn't think that I wrote this, right? Teacher Liao, you may have misunderstood. I understand. You young people have a beautiful heart. It's understandable. Everyone has it. Liao Wushuang was not annoyed. Instead, she said with a smile, Moreover, your method is very healthy. I like it. It shows that you put your heart into it, Liao Wushuang said. Opened the envelope and took out the letter written in English. But there are some problems with the wording. I have to correct you, lest you make such a mistake in the future. But Teacher Liao. Liao Wushuang pressed a finger on Li Fan's lips and then, with a red face, gently kissed him on the cheek. This is to thank you for saving me last time, plus a return gift for your admiration. Liao Wushuang's kiss stunned Li Fan. What is this situation? Don't misunderstand. Teacher has been in the West. This way is simply to express my gratitude. Liao Wushuang quickly explained with a red face. Don't mention the love letter again. Although I want to have a good relationship with you, teacher and student are teacher and student. I don't agree with teacher and student love. Teacher, you have been studying in the West for so long, influenced by the Western culture, you actually don't agree with teacher and student love? I just feel that in my eyes. You are all cute children. How can you fall in love with a child, right? Teacher, I'm not happy hearing you say that. Li Fan immediately emphasized, I'm not a child. I'm a healthy man. You haven't even graduated from high school. How can you be healthy? What should be grown is grown. What should be grown is grown up. Li Fan immediately defended himself, making Liao Wushuang blush. What are you talking about? This is not something a student should say. I'm telling the truth, Teacher Liao. Obviously, you looked down on me first. At my age, my self-esteem is very sensitive, okay? Teacher is not looking down on you. But Liao Wushuang was so anxious that her face turned red, but she didn't know how to explain it. Teacher Liao, I know you are my teacher, but your duty is only to impart knowledge to me. Li Fan said very seriously, could it be that in your heart, we are always unequal? Am I not even qualified to be an ordinary friend? Of course not. Li Fan, listen to me explain. When Liao Wushuang was anxious, she didn't know how to speak. She didn't say anything for a long time. I was rude. I thought we were friends. Li Fan's eyes seemed to be a little red. Liao Wushuang hurriedly said, "Yes, we are friends. Otherwise, teacher wouldn't have kissed you, right? Teacher doesn't kiss just anyone. So teacher Liao means that you have a good impression of me." Li Fan felt that he was a little too cunning. Yes, I admit it, but it's only limited to the kind of good feelings between friends. Liao Wushuang felt that her defense was somewhat weak. If this went on, she really didn't know how to explain it. "Well, I believe teacher Liao. I'm already very grateful that you are willing to help me with my tutoring," Li Fan said apprehensively. "I hope teacher Liao won't be angry with me and won't drive me away." No, how could teacher do that? "How about this? Teacher will give you something good to drink. The two of us drink something to calm down, and then we'll have a good lesson." With that, Liao Wushuang stood up. Her graceful body made Li Fan linger. If he had such a beautiful girl as his wife, it would be pretty good. Wait a minute, what am I thinking? Didn't I want to tease Liao Wushuang? How could I fall into her trap first? This girl is the woman that Bai Linluo likes. I must keep a certain distance from her. Liao Wushuang came over with 2 wine glasses in one hand and a bottle of red wine in the other. "This is a Bordeaux that I brought back from abroad. I've treasured it for a long time." Liao Wushuang winked at Li Fan and then put the wine and wine glasses on the tea table. "You can only drink a small mouthful. If you drink too much, you'll get drunk, and it's not convenient for you to study," Liao Wushuang reminded him. Li Fan muttered in his heart, "Yes, it's not convenient for me to study when I'm drunk, but it's convenient for me to do other things." Cough, cough, I'm evil again. Are all men really animals that think with their lower body? But my lower body is still that of a pure novice. A novice doesn't have any experience, so he can't stand any tough test. Especially this Liao Wushuang's neckline is a bit low, revealing some deep lines, which is really attractive. Li Fan felt that he should drink more red wine. Liao Wushuang poured a third of the wine for Li Fan. He picked up the wine glass and drank it all in one gulp. This red wine made him shiver and a bit bitter. It's not tasty at all. Looking at Li Fan's bitter face, Liao Wushuang couldn't help but laugh. "Idiot, how can you drink red wine like this? Red wine needs to be tasted slowly, not gulp it down. I'll give you a little more, and you can taste it again. Drink a little more, and put it under your tongue." After saying that, Liao Wushuang poured a little more for Li Fan, and then she also took a sip. Li Fan used to think that regardless of men or women, the way they eat is pretty ugly. But Liao Wushuang broke Li Fan's common sense. When she tasted the red wine, when her sexy lips touched the wine glass, that kind of beauty and the degree of temptation really made Li Fan feel a strong killing power. Ba, I must correct my mentality. I can't let my imagination run wild, or my mind will be messed up. Don't forget, I'm here for tutoring, not to pick up girls. Tomorrow is the weekly exam, and I don't want to be eliminated. How shameful would it be to be eliminated? However, Li Fan still can't help but look at Liao Wushuang's appearance while drinking red wine. It's really beautiful. This woman is simply a stunner. It's hard to imagine that she would be willing to be an English teacher. Moreover, she's still in high school. If it's me, I'll definitely want to be a teacher in a university. That way, I'll definitely encounter a lot of romantic encounters. What are you waiting for? Drink it, or do you want me to feed you? Liao Wushuang was just joking, but she doesn't seem to know how powerful these words are to Li Fan. Li Fan glanced at Liao Wushuang's sexy lips, forgot about drinking, and swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Chapter 222. What's wrong? You don't like it? Liao Wushuang thought that Li Fan didn't like it, so she reminded him, "Just take a sip and slowly taste it under your tongue. Try it, teacher won't lie to you." "Then I'll try." Li Fan tasted this small sip of wine and then put it under his tongue according to Liao Wushuang's instructions. From the bitterness in the mouth, a trace of sweetness slowly appeared, which made Li Fan somewhat surprised. It seems like good wine is different, but one must know how to taste it. Li Fan also tasted that small sip. When he wanted to ask Liao Wushuang for more, Liao Wushuang had already put away the red wine. "It's not that teacher is stingy, but you really can't drink anymore, otherwise you will get drunk. You look down on me, Teacher Liao, I can drink 1,000 cups without getting drunk. Li Fan quickly proved his ability, but Liao Wushuang gently poked his forehead. What nonsense are you talking about? Do you think you are a martial arts master? You can drink 1,000 cups without getting drunk. Speaking of martial arts master, Teacher Liao, do you believe in martial arts master? Li Fan suddenly asked. Martial arts master? Which kind are you referring to? Liao Wushuang's eyebrows slightly raised, which was very beautiful. The kind that can fly high and has internal energy, Wang Yao said. Interesting question. Every time Liao Wushuang smiled, her eyes would narrow into a beautiful crescent, which was very beautiful. When I was abroad, I saw some martial arts masters. Their martial arts seem to be different from what you said. I haven't seen any internal energy, but those martial arts masters' fist and foot skills are good. Just fist and foot skills? Yes, and the physical fitness of our people is indeed not as good as that of foreigners. Liao Wushuang sighed. I have seen the National Wrestling Championship. Those wrestlers' physical fitness is too strong. There are also some American boxers whose body has been systematically trained, which are much stronger than us martial arts masters. Martial arts should be more powerful, right? You read too many novels. Liao Wushuang continued to state her point of view. You haven't seen the muscles on those people and their strength. People like you would only appear on TV. It's impossible for them to exist in reality. What if there is, Teacher Liao? Li Fan asked solemnly. I only believe what I see with my own eyes. Liao Wushuang pointed to her eyes. And boys your age like to have some fantasies, I understand. It's normal. But don't let your fantasies hold you back, understand? Got it. Thank you for the reminder, Teacher Liao. Li Fan had no other way. This kind of thing probably couldn't be explained clearly to Teacher Liao. He couldn't just raise his hand and make all the chairs in Teacher Liao's room fly up and then say, Look, this is the power of Zhenqi. All right, let's not talk about this. Liao Wushuang steered the conversation back on track. Your current English level is not bad, but you always make some grammatical mistakes. Actually, it's very simple here. Just think of it as... Liao Wushuang leaned on the coffee table with her arm on the table. She was very close to Li Fan. Her hair could even touch the tip of Li Fan's nose. There was a faint milky fragrance on her body, which was different from other girls. This reminded Li Fan of Lin Yuhsin. When she tutored him, she was also this close to him, and he could smell her fragrance. But the two of them have completely different fragrances. Why does Liao Wushuang have a milky fragrance? Li Fan tried his best to get rid of these messy questions in his mind. He didn't want to let his imagination run wild anymore. Study hard and strive to be a civilized student. Although he was somewhat distracted, he had to admit that Liao Wushuang's teaching level was very high. The English that he usually felt was like a heavenly book was now at her fingertips, allowing Li Fan to learn very quickly. The efficiency of this lesson was much better than Li Fan's 10 hours of study. Moreover, many things that Li Fan did not understand before were now clear. No wonder Bai Lin Luo likes this beautiful teacher. Her level is really high. Teacher Liao, I understand this part, but I still don't quite understand this part. Li Fan took a piece of paper and pushed it to Liao Wushuang. But when Liao Wushuang took it, she accidentally knocked the wine glass over, spilling the red wine on Liao Wushuang's t-shirt. Liao Wushuang exclaimed and took a few steps back, and Li Fan quickly straightened the wine glass, but it was too late. Teacher Liao, are you okay? I'm fine. I'll go wash. Liao Wushuang shook the wine on her chest. It's a waste of this red wine. I'll help teacher wipe the table. Teacher, quickly go wash it. Li Fan pulled out a few paper towels and began to wipe the table. Liao Wushuang has walked into the bathroom next to it. Perhaps because this is a single apartment, this bathroom is also a semi-open type, with a frosted glass on the outside. Through this frosted glass, Li Fan can see Liao Wushuang's vague, charming figure inside. AI, this is really contradictory. Since it's vague, how can it be called charming? It's probably because Liao Wushuang left a beautiful impression on me. This is true. Just when Li Fan was trying to dispel the unhealthy fantasy in his mind, a sudden exclamation came from the bathroom. There's a situation. Did a monster crawl out of the toilet, or red blood dripping from the water pipe? At that moment, Li Fan really wanted to directly rush into the bathroom and save Liao Wushuang like a hero, but he still retained his rationality, just slightly stood up and sat back down. Liao Wushuang took the initiative to open the bathroom door and walked out. She was wrapped in a white bath towel, covering most of her body, but it made her figure more curvaceous. Li Fan said that this appearance makes people want to commit a crime. It's better to not wear it. Li Fan, can you help me? Liao Wushuang's body is a little wet, but her hair is tied up, so it's not wet. What's wrong? Teacher Liao. Li Fan felt a little blood rush to his head. Isn't this challenging my psychological bottom line? No, it's challenging my moral standards. No matter what, I'm also a young man. Is this really good? Li Fan is depressed, this kind of thing. He doesn't know if he should be embarrassed or happy. I don't know why the water pipe is broken. It seems like a valve is loose. With my current appearance, it's not convenient to find the property management. Li Fan, can you help me take a look? Not at all. Let me take a look. In the past, when he lived in a dilapidated house, the water pipes at home were always broken. Li Fan learned how to repair it from his father. If it's a small problem, he can indeed fix it. I thought I suddenly lost my sight due to overuse of my eyes. You're exaggerating, Teacher Liao. You're too humorous. That's hard to say, but it's good that I'm not blind. Li Fan, I'm sorry. You came here, and there's a power outage and water outage. It's okay, Teacher Liao. My previous house was always like this. He didn't expect a high-class apartment to be similar to his dilapidated house. Everyone was the same. It seemed that expensive wasn't good. Such a high-class apartment, there would always be problems. Since there's a power outage, I'll go home. Seeing that it was getting late, Li Fan decided to go home and practice before going to bed. Don't. Liao Wushuang blurted out, which made Li Fan curious. Teacher Liao, what's wrong? You haven't finished your homework? Actually, I'm pretty good at math. How about I help you with your math? But there's a power outage. I still have candles at home. Lend me your phone. I'll go look for it. Okay. Li Fan couldn't refuse this enthusiastic Liao Wushuang, but he thought about it and couldn't help but ask. Teacher Liao, are you afraid of the dark? Nonsense, I'm an atheist. Why would I be afraid of the dark? Liao Wushuang had already turned on her phone. Because it was too dark, she didn't notice that her bathrobe was slightly slipping, revealing some forbidden areas that shouldn't be seen. Li Fan swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Damn, this situation seems a bit serious. If I continue to study like this, will I make any mistakes? This is hard to say. I'm a normal man. Would a normal man resist this kind of thing? Li Fan fell into deep thought. According to his understanding, among the men he knew, there wasn't such a powerful guy. As for the legendary Liu Xiaohui, anyway, I haven't seen him, so I'm deeply doubtful. That calm guy, is he really not a eunuch? At this time, Liao Wushuang didn't know what her student was thinking. She was bending over and rummaging through a small cabinet in the living room. As she bent over, the curve of her buttocks was exposed under the bath towel. Moreover, the bath towel was so short that it was impossible to complete the task given by its owner. A part of it was already out of the control of the bath towel, waving at Li Fan in the dark. Although Li Fan could also see, some places with serious shadows would also affect his vision. What is the truth under the bath towel? Li Fan felt that as a martial artist, he should actively train his eyesight, to strive to see darker and deeper things, and then strive to explore the light. Li Fan was moved by his great goal. Such a diligent martial artist would probably be fewer and fewer. However, Li Fan changed his mind. This is the woman that Bai Linluo likes. I'm so sorry to my brother like this. Thinking of this, Li Fan patted his face and warned himself. Li Fan, it's not wrong for a man to like a woman, but absolutely not without a bottom line. Since it's a woman that my brother likes, how can I overstep it? Found it. Liao Wushuang obviously didn't know that her student had just experienced a mental battle. She finally found the candle, carefully walked over, and sat next to Li Fan. Looking at the exquisite candlestick in front of him, the candle, and the red wine, Li Fan couldn't help but say, "Seems like a candlelight dinner." It's a bit like that, but our dinner is spiritual food. Liao Wushuang said while writing down a few formulas for Li Fan. I like to call them universal formulas. Look, I'll give you a few questions. Smelling the milk fragrance on Liao Wushuang's body, Li Fan entered this beautiful learning atmosphere. Chapter 224. The tutoring session became more and more ambiguous as time went on. Because she was in the dark, Liao Wushuang seemed to have forgotten that she was only wrapped in a bath towel, probably because she was used to dressing like this at home. Liao Wushuang was very serious about the questions and didn't realize how much she exposed herself. Li Fan also strongly dispelled those unhealthy thoughts in his mind, so that he could keep his mind clear and concentrate on his studies. Liao Wushuang's way of teaching was completely different from Lin Yuchesai. Lin Yuchesai taught him more like how to deal with exams. But Liao Wushuang made him take the initiative to be interested in studying, so that the learning effect would be better. Li Fan followed Liao Wushuang to do the questions for a long time, but there was no response. He looked at his phone and found it was already midnight. Teacher Liao, it's already midnight. I really should go home. Although he didn't know if Morongying was waiting for him at home, as a husband, he should go home at night. Okay. Then you can go back. Liao Wushuang seemed a little scared, but she was too embarrassed to say it, so she could only let Li Fan leave. Goodbye, Teacher Liao. When Li Fan was about to leave, the window suddenly lit up like daytime, reflecting Liao Wushuang's beautiful figure. This beautiful scene only lasted for a moment. A second or two later, a loud thunder pierced the eardrum and exploded. Liao Wushuang screamed in fright and directly hugged Li Fan, her body still trembling. Li Fan was stunned. This teacher Liao is not only afraid of the dark, but also thunder? I'm sorry. Liao Wushuang seemed to be aware of her gaffe. She blushed and took 2 steps back, seemingly a little embarrassed. I was a little lost. No, thunder is very scary. Li Fan quickly changed the topic. I heard thunder is God's anger, using thunder to punish humans. Don't say it. Can you wait? Wait until the thunder is not. It's not too late to leave. Liao Wushuang seemed to be really scared, so she begged Li Fan. All right then. His teacher had already begged him so much, and it would be a little unreasonable for him to refuse. Sigh, he was just that kind. But it's already so late. I don't really feel like studying anymore. Li Fan really couldn't learn anymore, and Liao Wushuang didn't force him. It's okay. At this time, your brain will indeed be a little muddled. Even if he learned it, the effect would be greatly reduced. Then let's take a break. Li Fan's expression was a little dull, and Liao Wushuang hurriedly explained, It's just a simple rest, nothing else. I'm not thinking about anything else. Teacher, what are you thinking about? Li Fan asked. I'm fine. Then let's rest, Liao Wushuang said. But there's only one bed in the house. You can sleep on the bed, and I'll sleep on the sofa. Because it was a beautiful bachelor pad, there was only one room. The kitchen and bathroom were semi-open, and the bedroom was next to the window, where there was a beautiful round bed. The sofa was in the living room, and the candlelight next to it was faintly lit, making this originally clean apartment look even more strange. That's not good. Teacher is a girl. How can you let a girl sleep on the sofa? I'm a teacher, so naturally, I should take care of my students. Liao Wushuang said, How can I let my students sleep on the sofa? This is against a teacher's principle. Letting a girl sleep on the sofa is against a man's principle. Li Fan repeatedly emphasized, Teacher Liao, if you don't agree, I'll leave. Don't. Liao Wushuang hurriedly agreed. Then teacher can sleep on the bed. That's right. Teacher, you should rest now. I also have to sleep early. I still have an exam tomorrow. It's time to rest. Liao Wushuang looked at Li Fan's phone, and it was indeed late. The two of them were a bit embarrassed. Liao Wushuang lay on the bed and covered herself with the quilt. She quietly took off her towel and put it on the side of the bed. What the? This female teacher likes to sleep naked. Li Fan said, This is really the same hobby. I also like to sleep naked. Sleeping naked is good for my health. But if Liao Wushuang can strip naked, then it's a bit inconvenient for me. I can't just strip naked in a girl's house. That's a bit inconvenient for me. Li Fan felt that he should have the integrity of a gentleman. I'm so great. I've sacrificed so much. It's really worth praising. Li Fan secretly admired himself. At this time, lightning and thunder began to rumble outside, as if a storm was coming. Li Fan, are you still awake? Liao Wushuang, lying on the bed, feeling the lightning and thunder, felt a bit scared and subconsciously asked, I'm awake, teacher. Sleeping with such a beautiful woman in the same room, it's impossible to fall asleep easily. Li Fan answered, which made Liao Wushuang feel a bit relieved. Li Fan, that? Tell me a story. Taking advantage of such a violent rainy night, Liao Wushuang couldn't care less about some things in order to boost her courage. When I was young, on a thunderous and rainy night, my mother would always tell me a story. If he could see Liao Wushuang's face, he would definitely find that her face was very red. Li Fan naturally couldn't see her face, but he could catch the moonlight and see her beautiful figure covered by the quilt. Liao Wushuang's quilt wasn't very thick, and it was only a thin layer. Covering her body, it didn't have any concealment effect. Instead, it made her figure more visible. The feeling of committing a crime was really getting stronger and stronger, and Li Fan felt that some force was about to awaken. So, tell me a story. I know a few stories. Which one do you want to hear, teacher? Li Fan listed a few options. For example, an embroidered shoe, a hand under the bed, and a back-to-back is really comfortable. Wait a minute. Liao Wushuang almost peed her pants in fright. It was the middle of the night, and there was a water and electricity outage, so she didn't dare to pee. I refused to listen to these stories. Sometimes, people have to be brave enough to challenge themselves, teacher. Li Fan chuckled. Liao Wushuang was silent for a moment before asking Li Fan. Li Fan, you look quite handsome. I know a few handsome gay guys abroad. Do you want me to introduce them to you? Teacher, my sexual orientation is very normal. People have to be brave enough to challenge themselves. Classmate Li Fan. Liao Wushuang's exact words left Li Fan speechless. Chapter 225. Liao Wushuang's eloquence is very high. Basically, she can make people speechless in just 3 sentences. Li Fan originally wanted to tease Liao Wushuang, but he didn't expect to be teased instead. Failure, what a failure. I've made men lose face. After reading so many online novels, the male protagonists in those novels can have a war of words with a group of girls and make them wet with just his mouth. Looking at me, I'm so lame, really lame. Could it be that there's no such man in reality? If only there's a man who can teach me. A man's charm is not only based on his martial arts, but also his eloquence. Sweet talk is also a kind of weapon. Li Fan has always believed in it. It seems like I need to put more effort in this aspect. Can't you tell me a story? That's not scary. After another lightning bolt, Liao Wushuang broke the silence again. I have a story about wuxia. Teacher, do you want to hear it? Li Fan pondered for a moment and then asked. Okay, go ahead. I also like to read wuxia novels. Liao Wushuang didn't object. Once upon a time, there was a high school student. He was always ordinary and was bullied. High school student? Shouldn't wuxia novels take place in ancient times? Liao Wushuang interrupted Li Fan. No, it's in modern times. Li Fan said, after all, it's a story. Teacher, do you still want to hear it? It sounds interesting. Well, this high school student, because of an accident, stepped on the road of martial arts. From then on, he was no longer an ordinary high school student. He had power and wanted to find an extraordinary life. He defeated many strong enemies and won some fame and money. But because of this, he also provoked some enemies. Some in the dark, some in the light. All wanted to kill this high school student. Choosing power is also accompanied by danger. Teacher Liao, do you think this high school student's choice was right? Is this a story of your own imagination? Liao Wushuang said very seriously, it's understandable. At your age, having some unrealistic fantasies is also understandable. After all, at your age, you crave power and desire to be different from the masses. Isn't it just a story? Teacher, You won't be able to tell a story like this. Of course, the story is quite nice, but I just want to tell you that a story is just a story. Don't take it seriously. You have to be brave enough to walk out of your fantasies and face reality. Then why are you still afraid of thunder? Li Fan secretly waved his fist. Well done. He had finally recovered. This is what a man should be like. I suddenly realized that you're not an honest child either, Liao Wushuang muttered. The last time I met Wang Chong, he told me that you're a hooligan student and told me not to get too close to you. I'm being wronged. Teacher, I'm an honest student. That Wang Chong is the real hooligan. He always uses his family's money to bully others in school. Liao Wushuang shivered in the bed. How could there be such a big thunder? But Li Fan didn't care about this thunder. Anyway, he didn't do anything wrong, so he's not afraid of thunder at night. Not knowing how much time had passed, Li Fan felt sleepy. He closed his eyes and waited for the arrival of sleep. Sigh, if I can sleep with a girl in my arms, even if it's Teacher Liao, with her figure, it must be very comfortable to sleep with her in my arms. Thinking of this, Li Fan subconsciously used his hand to pinch. As a result, a soft ball of something was held in his hand, followed by a moan. What the hell? Li Fan opened his eyes and found that Teacher Liao had unknowingly slipped to his sofa, curled up into a ball, and actually fell asleep. Damn, is this woman's zodiac a cat? There's actually someone who can silently come to my side without being noticed. Chapter 226. Perhaps because he was too tired, Li Fan glanced at Liao Wushuang, who had already fallen asleep in his arms. He didn't know whether he should kick Liao Wushuang down or just silently accept her. Forget it. Teacher Liao had been worried for half a day. Now that she had finally fallen asleep, it was somewhat unbearable for him to kick her down. Li Fan. Li Fan, you are good in every aspect, but you are too kind. Li Fan felt deep admiration for his own kindness. At the same time, he also felt sleepy and slowly entered into a dream. Li Fan had a dream. In the dream, he discovered that he had become an emperor. He sat on the dragon throne and looked at the ministers below him. Below him stood 2 rows of civil and military generals. Bai Lin Luo was the Grand State Preceptor and Guan Wanbao was the Grand General. Yin Kai was the head of the Imperial Palace. He held a horsetail whisk in his hand and stood not far away from him. Huang Lei didn't know what official position he held. He held a white jade in his hand and stood below. His eyes kept glancing at the palace maid beside him. Your Majesty, why are you still in court? Everyone is waiting anxiously. Lu Xinan unexpectedly appeared in his dream. She was wearing the clothes of an imperial concubine. She walked to his side and pulled his hand to sit in her embrace. Audacious! Is this a place for you to be presumptuous? Murong-ing also appeared. She was wearing the clothes of an empress and had an arrogant look on her face. Just an insignificant imperial concubine. Quickly retreat. So what if I'm an imperial concubine? His Majesty dotes on me. You, an empress who has fallen out of favor, don't appear here. Otherwise, you will be laughed at by the ministers. Lu Xinan's words were still so hidden and piercing straight to the heart. Li Fan said that if he was Murong-ing, the temple would definitely explode. Sure enough, with Murong-ing's temper, how could she endure this? She tenderly scolded. Audacious! Come, drag this woman out and behead her bewitching words. Don't, Your Highness. Lin Yuexian is also wearing the clothes of an imperial consort and walks out from the back, blocking those guards. Although Consort Xian has a bad mouth, her heart is still good. After all, she's our sister. Your Highness, please spare her this once. Unforgivable. Murong Ai was also wearing the clothes of a concubine. She poked her head out from behind Murong-ing. Concubine Xian is especially bad. He's always bullying me. Sister, you have to help me. I won't let anyone bully us sisters, Murong-ing said. Whoever bullies us sisters will have to pay the price. Everyone, calm down. At some point, Liao Wushuang was also standing here, trying to persuade these women. We're a family, and we should help each other in times of need. Why are you quarreling? Fuck. Why did this woman appear? She was his teacher. She shouldn't have appeared in his dreams. Furthermore, she appeared in the image of an imperial concubine. Ah, stop quarreling. It seems like His Majesty's favorite imperial concubine has arrived. Heavens, I'm so envious of her. A group of imperial concubines and the Empress looked at the back with envy and jealousy. Li Fan also couldn't help but turn his head. His favorite imperial concubine. In this group of beauties, how beautiful is she? Your Majesty, Renjia missed you to death. Your Majesty. Taiju is wearing the clothes of an imperial concubine. She twisted her thick waist and acted coquettishly towards Li Fan. Oh my God. Li Fan suddenly opened his eyes and found himself lying on a comfortable sofa. The surrounding scene was a little strange, but also a little familiar. He remembered that he was in Liao Wushuang's house. You're awake? Liao Wushuang is standing at the side. She is wearing a white shirt and black trousers. Her hair is tied into a beautiful ponytail. She looks very elegant and elegant. She tilts her head and looks at Li Fan. Did you sleep well? Very well. Li Fan rolled his eyes and then said, I'm a person who is very particular about my bed. Usually, if I don't sleep in my own bed, I can't sleep well. But today, I slept exceptionally well. Why? Liao Wushuang is somewhat curious. Because, although I'm a boy, I have the same problem as a girl. That is, I like to hug something to sleep. Otherwise, I won't feel safe. Hearing Li Fan's words, Liao Wushuang's face suddenly blushed. Last night's matter. I'm afraid of thunder. You must forget about it. Oh, what I said was, when I was a child, I liked to hug a puppy to sleep. Teacher Liao, what are you thinking? Li Fan chuckled. Liao Wushuang is even more embarrassed. How can you tease a teacher like this? I'll fail you in English. Teacher Liao, you can't abuse your power like this. Li Fan immediately became anxious. If he failed in English, what would happen? Although I won't fall to the last place with one less score, if I fail in English, won't Chang Chuanqi laugh at me to death? As a person, he must not lose face like this. Humph, who told a student like you to be so glib? Liao Wushuang said, if you dare to talk nonsense again, I'll really punish you like this. I'm not talking nonsense. Aren't what I said the truth? No, I must forget about it. By the way, Teacher Liao, there's something I'm worried about. Li Fan suddenly became worried. Liao Wushuang tilted her head. What's the matter? Both of us slept naked last night. Will we give birth to a child? You. Liao Wushuang was momentarily speechless, as if choked. We didn't do that. How could we get pregnant? Liao Wushuang is angry and ashamed. You, this child, don't understand the scientific truth. If a man and a woman want to have a child, they must go through that kind of thing. Moreover, it's not that easy to get pregnant. Not to mention these 2 days are still my safe period. Liao Wushuang felt that she had inadvertently said something terrible, and Li Fan was also stunned. How could he continue the conversation? The two people were embarrassed for a long time. The atmosphere is unusually thick. After a long time, a burnt smell rushed into their nose, and Liao Wushuang suddenly exclaimed, Not good. I boiled the milk. She ran to the kitchen in a panic. Li Fan followed her and saw that the kitchen has begun to emit black smoke. A pot sitting on the stove has begun to burn. The fire is so strong that Liao Wushuang panicked, subconsciously grabbed the water basin next to her and splashed it on the pot. Hey, don't, Li Fan exclaimed, but it's too late. The water has been splashed on the pot. Boom. My goodness, a huge fireball soared to the sky and burned the ceiling, blackening it. Teacher Liao, you're not an English teacher. You should be a mage. This big fireball is really good. Li Fan can't help but ridicule. Liao Wushuang is already at a loss, not knowing what to do. Chapter 227. Teacher Liao, step back. Li Fan pulled Liao Wushuang behind him, reached out to turn off the gas valve, and then swept his hand toward the pot. Although the wind can help the fire, if the wind is too strong, like a vacuum, it can also smoothly extinguish the fire. Sure enough, with Li Fan's palm strike, the blazing flame immediately extinguished. Huh. Liao Wushuang was somewhat surprised. Could it be that turning off the gas can extinguish the fire? This is not scientific. Lucky. Li Fan is also glad that he has internal force. Otherwise, this fire would really be ignited. The entire kitchen was burned black. The ceiling has turned into a black curtain. The landlord won't look for you, right? Li Fan is somewhat worried. This place burned to this state. It will not be cheap to renovate it. If he meets a black-hearted landlord, he will be ruthlessly ripped off. Perhaps he will feel pain. It's okay. I have already bought the house. Liao Wushuang gave Li Fan a smile. Thank you for your concern for teacher. Teacher is very happy. Fuck. Dead nouveau riche. Li Fan suddenly does not know how to respond. Why the world is full of this kind of nouveau riche? Morongying is rich. Lu Xinan is rich. Even this new teacher Liao is also a little nouveau riche. There is no justice. How can I continue to be silent? I must be a real rich generation. Looks like I can't eat milk. But teacher still made sandwiches. Liao Wushuang brought 2 plates from the balcony, with sandwiches that she made. Ah, teacher Liao also knows how to make a Western breakfast. There was a fried egg and a sandwich on the plate. It looked quite presentable. It's cheaper to cook for yourself abroad. At your age, a glass of milk every morning is the best. Liao Wushuang is a bit annoyed. Unfortunately, I messed it up. Is teacher a bit stupid? How can teacher Liao be stupid? Teacher Liao's knowledge is very rich. Li Fan quickly said, a lot of students in the class especially admire teacher Liao's knowledge. But knowledge does not mean wisdom. Liao Wushuang is slightly tangled. Do I have to eat red wine for breakfast? Forget it. I still have a test later. I'll just drink some water when I get to class. Li Fan said that it was better not to drink red wine. The more you drink, the easier it is to get into trouble. After breakfast, Liao Wushuang proposed to drive Li Fan to school. Li Fan didn't refuse. After all, it was a bit shocking to go from Liao Wushuang's place to school. It was a distance of more than 20 kilometers. If he ran to school at a normal speed, it would be strange if he wasn't late. Liao Wushuang took out her red BMW Z4 from the garage and let Li Fan sit in the front passenger seat. Hey, Li Fan, why don't you fasten your seatbelt? Liao Wushuang couldn't help but ask when she saw that Li Fan had no intention of fastening his seatbelt. Aya, the co-pilot doesn't have to wear a seatbelt. It's okay. Li Fan waved his hand casually. He had never fastened his seatbelt while sitting in the front passenger seat. It should be said that he was not the only one. Everyone in a city was almost the same. Everyone didn't have this habit of sitting in the front passenger seat. It was very casual. How can this be? This is a bad habit. Liao Wushuang pulled the handbrake and then twisted her body, almost pressing on Li Fan's body. She pulled the seatbelt for him and buckled it carefully. Although they had slept together for a night, Li Fan was also very sleepy at that time, so he didn't feel much. But now the two of them were so close to each other that their breath seemed to merge together. Bah! Why did you use such a dirty word? But she was really close to him. It was said in the book that when 2 people were too close to each other for more than 3 seconds, the hormones between men and women would have a strange reaction, and then they would begin to attract each other. Although human beings were advanced animals, they were not separated from the nature of animals. In some primitive aspects, there was still no difference. Liao Wushuang and Li Fan were obviously among them, especially Liao Wushuang's chest pressed on Li Fan's collar, which made Li Fan feel happy and suffocated. It could also be said that he was so happy that he was about to suffocate. The two of their faces were also very close, and they could feel each other's breath. At that moment, Li Fan felt that Liao Wushuang's lips were even more tempting. The rosy lips were placed in front of him, like a plate of delicious food, waiting for him to taste. After Liao Wushuang fastened her seatbelt, she also seemed to feel that kind of charming atmosphere. She looked at Li Fan, her eyes blinking, and her long eyelashes trembled. Every time her eyelashes trembled, it seemed to be able to tug at Li Fan's heartstrings. It was as if someone had thrown a heart-shaped stone into Li Fan's heart, causing endless ripples. A strong attraction seemed to be stronger than his dragon toad's water absorption. Li Fan subconsciously wanted to move closer to Liao Wushuang's lips. Very close, really very close. Just a little bit more, and I can kiss her. 5 centimeters, 2 centimeters, 1 centimeter. He seemed to be able to feel the temperature on Liao Wushuang's lips, but at this moment, a car horn pierced their ears, and the driver behind them kept pressing on the horn. If you want to kiss, go home and kiss. Don't block the way. You two might as well have sex in the car. The people behind them cursed, and Li Fan and Liao Wushuang felt very embarrassed. Fasten it. Liao Wushuang blushed, returned to the driver's seat, and then started the car in a hurry. Before she stepped on the clutch, she first stepped on the gas pedal. But with a bang, the car stalled. Liao Wushuang hurriedly restarted the car, but she didn't find the clutch properly, and the car just started, and the engine stalled again. Phew! Liao Wushuang took 2 deep breaths, as if trying to calm herself down. Li Fan stretched out his hand and gently placed it on Liao Wushuang's hand that was holding the gear lever. Teacher Liao, don't worry, take your time. But the people behind us are so anxious. Liao Wushuang's ears were filled with the honking of the car behind them. Don't bother with him. Keep your mind clear. Li Fan's voice seemed to have a magical power, drilling into Liao Wushuang's ears. At this moment, the honking in her ears seemed to be far away, and the world became quiet. Liao Wushuang's mood also eased a lot. She was silent for a moment, and then skillfully changed the gear. The car smoothly started and drove out of the community. Thank you, Li Fan. Liao Wushuang expressed her gratitude to Li Fan. Teacher Liao, you're too polite. We've slept together. Don't be too polite. Go to hell, as if that's a big deal. Liao Wushuang blushed. Don't talk nonsense in school. What are you afraid of? We're not afraid of slanderous accusations. Li Fan vowed. No matter how the world views us, I will not be afraid. Why do you make it sound like a teacher and student love? I didn't say that. It was Teacher Liao who said it. Humph, you're just a little kid. How am I little? Where am I little? You're indeed very little. I even secretly touched you last night. What did you say? Chapter 228. Li Fan slept like a log last night. How could he think that Liao Wushuang would secretly touch his family heirloom? Your nose is really small. Chinese are all like this. Americans have big noses. My favorite is the hooked nose of the British. It looks very classy. Liao Wushuang stared straight ahead and said in a serious tone. Li Fan almost choked on his saliva. So she was talking about the nose? Fuck, I should go and face the wall. Actually, teacher thinks that if you have a hooked nose, you would be very handsome. However, you look pretty good now. You just need to be a little more confident. Thank you, Teacher Liao, for your comment. I will work hard. Tomorrow I will go to Korea and make my nose hooked. Especially for Teacher Liao to use to dry clothes. Aya, you can't even be serious. Liao Wushuang laughed. Seeing you full of confidence, I take back my words. It would be better if you were a little more humble. I'm already very humble. Li Fan said bluntly. I usually restrain myself in class, especially when it comes to grades. I don't even dare to set them too high. I'm afraid that those good students won't be able to bear it and cause some accidents. You're even bragging now. Liao Wushuang did not believe Li Fan's nonsense. As your teacher, how could I not know your score? Teacher Liao, how can you say that? I'm your favorite student. Believe it or not, this time, I will give you the first place in the class. If you can get the first place in the class, I will go on a date with you. Liao Wushuang casually said. She knew Li Fan's English level. Okay, it's a deal. Li Fan's temper flared up. He does not dare to say he is the first in the class. After all, there is a perverted IQ Lin blocking his way. But the first place in the class should not be a problem. The only good student in the class is Deng Siwei. If he surpasses that guy, he will be envious. Li Fan's 3 minutes of popularity is just a joke. Although his English had improved, it had not reached the level of being the first in class. There were too many people in the class who were better at English than him. Bai Linluo was much better than him. Almost 3 minutes later, Li Fan had forgotten about this matter. They talked about other things in the car. Li Fan asked about Liao Wushuang's life abroad. He had never been out of this country, so he was still a little curious about the outside world. There was a particularly tacky and melodramatic saying, but Li Fan had personally verified its reliability. The time of happiness was indeed short. Usually, It would take him a long time to run 20 kilometers, but today, he felt that time passed very quickly as he chatted with Liao Wushuang. "We're here. I'll park the car. You can get off at the school gate." Liao Wushuang parked her car in front of the school gate. Many boys around looked over. Who didn't know the beautiful teacher's car? Li Fan suddenly realized that his hand was still touching Liao Wushuang's hand. The two of them actually didn't notice it for so long. He loosened his hand. Liao Wushuang also noticed it, and her face suddenly turned red. "Then I'm going to take the exam. See you, Teacher Liao." Li Fan opened the car door and walked out. The surrounding boys who were waiting to see the beautiful teacher were all envious. "Fuck, who is this boy? I want to beat him up," a student said with jealousy. "Don't make trouble. This is the school's trusted little tyrant." Li Fan, a student next to him, hurriedly reminded. "Fuck, so it's him. Do you still want to beat him up?" "I just remembered that I haven't memorized a question. I'll beat him up after I memorize it." These words were blown into Li Fan's ears. Now that he has entered the next level of strength, his ears and eyes are sharp. These words were clearly heard by him, but Li Fan didn't want to pay attention to them. Saying that he was the school's little tyrant, who did he bully? Li Fan. Just as Li Fan was about to return to class, a familiar voice stopped him. Li Fan turned his head and saw the school bell standing by the fountain, waving at him. Because it was late autumn, the fountain had been turned off. But as Lin Yuesan stood there, her beautiful figure seemed to blend into a painting. There was a feeling that the fountain was still spraying water, and a beautiful rainbow was outlined. Li Fan rubbed his eyes, thinking that even the illusion came out. He must have not slept well. "Our school bell, what is she doing here instead of going to the morning self-study session?" There was still an hour of morning self-study time. Why didn't Lin Yuesan go back to class? Such a good student definitely wouldn't skip class. "You, come here for a moment." Lin Yuesan waved at Li Fan with some uneasiness. She felt that her recent attitude was a bit tough. If she wanted to take Li Fan away from Morongying, this attitude wouldn't do. No man liked a jealous woman, and Li Fan was no exception. Moreover, with such a strong woman like Morongying by his side, he couldn't have another one. Lin Yuesan thought for a few days, and then waited here early in the morning. "You haven't finished eating, right? My mom asked me to bring you a pancake." Lin Yuesan's mother had already returned from a trip to Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. This middle-aged woman was in high spirits, and she firmly believed in Li Fan's identity as a rich second generation. "Your mom is so funny. How can a rich second generation like to eat pancakes?" Li Fan sat down on the sink, and Lin Yuesan hurriedly stopped him. "Cold. It's okay. I have a lot of firepower." Li Fan had true qi to protect his body, so it was not a problem. "I'll just burn you to death." Lin Yuesan curled her lips. "Besides, my mom also thinks that since you're used to eating delicacies, pancakes might be even rarer." "Your mom's thinking is too advanced." "Humph. If you don't want to eat, then forget it. I'll feed it to the dogs." "Don't. I'll eat. I'm just hungry." Li Fan's appetite was really not small. There was only a sandwich and an egg in the morning. How could it be enough for him? But in front of Teacher Liao, he was too embarrassed to say that he was not full. Moreover, Teacher Liao's kitchen had already exploded. It wouldn't be good to ask Teacher Liao to go out and buy breakfast for him. But with Lin Yuesan, there was no need to be polite. Li Fan directly grabbed the pancake and started eating. "Eat slowly. Don't choke." Lin Yuesan put her bag under her body, sat down, and then handed a bottle of pear water to Li Fan. "This is the pear water I boiled myself. Thank you." Li Fan took it and gulped it down. Eating like this was the way to his heart's content. "Thank you, Lin Yuesan. You're the best." Li Fan was very grateful. It was still his fake girlfriend who was good to him. "There are a few sets of papers here. Take advantage of the time before the exam." Pooh. Li Fan spat out a mouthful of pear water. Chapter 229. Humana. Can't withstand praise. I just praised Lin, and she gave me such a ruthless stab. Comrade Lin. So you stopped me early in the morning just to make me do the test paper. Li Fan pinched the remaining bite of the pancake, his face filled with indignation. An honest person does not eat food given out of handouts. The ancients did not lie to me. Fuck you, what are you talking about? Lin Yuesan rolled her eyes at Li Fan. I did not give you any tutoring for a few days, so before the exam, I will give you a crash course. Then I really have to thank you. Li Fan was speechless. This girl, is she worried about me or torturing me? No wonder people say, don't try to guess a woman's mind. It's impossible to guess. It seems like the great physicist Hawking once said, women are the most complicated creatures in the world. Trying to understand a woman's mind is even more difficult than taking an exam. These are the types of questions that I chose. Lin Yuhsin took out a few sets of test papers and placed them on Li Fan's and her legs. The two of them are sitting next to each other, very close. When they are doing the questions, Li Fan can even smell the fragrance on Lin Yuhsin's body. It's a different smell from Liao Wushuang. Women are really strange. Even their body odors are different. This kind of animal is very complicated. It's not wrong at all. Li Fan took a few deep sniffs. Lin Yuesan, who was explaining to Li Fan, suddenly raised her head and stared at Li Fan, frowning, and asked, "What are you doing?" "Smelling you. Pervert." "Fuck, that's not what I meant. I'm just curious, where did the fragrance on your body come from?" "Pervert. Why don't you listen to my explanation? I'm just seeking knowledge." "Pervert. Little classmate Lin, this is not right. You were the one who told me that a person must have the desire to get to the bottom of things. I'm just curious." "Pervert. Can't you change your words? Even adding a word would do." What a freak. Li Fan was speechless. He silently accepted his fate. "All right, I'm a pervert. I'm a scoundrel. Do you still want to teach me? This problem is solved this way. What do you think?" Lin Yuesan immediately lowered her head and focused on the question. This time, it was Li Fan's turn to collapse. This woman was simply insane. After talking for a long time, Lin Yuesan suddenly said something. "Do I smell good?" "Smells good." "Damn," Li Fan said. "How can this woman's thinking be so jumpy? Are people with high IQs all schizophrenic?" Lin Yuesan took out a beautifully packaged notebook from her school bag. "If you compliment me for smelling good, I'll give you 1 point. Eavesdropping on girls, psychopathic, 10 points deducted." "What the fuck? You're still calculating this score?" Li Fan was speechless. "I thought you've stopped. How can I do that? One must finish what he started." Lin Yuhsin replied indifferently. "Then when can I get full marks?" "In your next life." Li Fan felt that his combat power today was a little weak. He still needed to work hard to win against this woman with high IQs. There were a total of 4 exams today, according to the college entrance examination system. Chinese and mathematics were tested in the morning, while English and comprehensive liberal arts were tested in the afternoon. Lin Yuhsin prepared 2 sets of Chinese and mathematics papers for Li Fan. After a short interlude, both of them stopped joking around and focused on finishing the papers. The probability of these types of questions appearing in this exam is very high. You must keep them in mind. Lin Yuhsin reminded Li Fan. "Don't forget them after finishing them." "How can you be so sure that this exam will be like this?" Li Fan felt a little strange. Lin Yuesan laughed and pointed to her head. "Isn't it simple? Probability, analysis. These few days, the teacher has been explaining these things. In addition, there are some things that I neglected in the previous exam. I've put them in. Probability is quite interesting. It's also very effective in psychological analysis." "Why? You've analyzed the psychology of the teacher who came up with the questions?"
Yes.
Lin Yuhsin nodded. "According to the key points that they like to focus on in their lectures, it's also listed in the scope of my revision." She readily admitted, "Li Fan, whether you like it or not, China's education method is like this. We don't learn the knowledge, but the skills of the exam. As long as you master the skills of the exam, then you can be like me, a god of exams. You're the opposite of Teacher Liao. She likes to cultivate my interest in learning." Li Fan couldn't help but compare. Humph. Lin Yuhsin was originally quite proud of herself. She was almost wagging her tail. Hearing what Li Fan said, she immediately snorted. "You're not allowed to tutor her in the future." "Hey, why? She's good at it." Am I not good at it? Lin Yuhsin immediately asked. It's also good, but the method is different. Li Fan honestly said, especially English. Her English is very practical and interesting. Lin Yuhsin choked with anger. She wanted to scold him for being a rotten wood that cannot be carved, but in the end, she endured it and didn't scold him. Then you're only allowed to tutor her in English. I'll teach you the other subjects. Okay. Li Fan didn't mind this. Anyway, it's fine as long as he could learn English from Liao Wushuang. That's more like it. Then from tonight onwards, tutor me. Not tonight. Li Fan immediately said, I have something to do tonight. I won't be in City A for the next 2 days. I'll probably be back on Sunday. You're going out again? Yes, after all, I'm a struggling rich second generation. I have to busy myself with my own business. Li Fan chuckled, which made Lin roll her eyes. Go to hell. You're not being serious again. Then I'll look for you on Monday. By the way, let's meet here at noon. I have papers for you to review for the afternoon exam. Got it, Miss Lin. See you at noon. Bye-bye. Lin Yuhsin seemed to be a little happy again. She swayed her beautiful ponytail and left at a brisk pace like a happy deer. Women are really hard to understand. Li Fan shrugged his shoulders and returned to his classroom. Li Fan, you're late. Chang Chuanxi looked at Li Fan with a livid face. I said there's an exam today, but I didn't say I have to have morning self-study. Li Fan put his school bag on the seat and said carelessly, Miss Chang, next time you let me have morning self-study, you must make it clear. All students, listen up. In Chang Chuanxi's eyes, Li Fan was a rascal. Therefore, he didn't bother to bicker with Li Fan. He changed the topic and announced one thing. From Friday onwards, there will be supplementary lessons on Saturday and Sunday. There will be half a day off in the afternoon on Sunday, but there will be evening self-study in the evening. Miss Chang, is the supplementary lessons compulsory? Li Fan asked immediately. It's not compulsory. Chang Chuanxi broke a piece of chalk. Chapter 230. The private number 2 high school continues to carry out their so-called high-pressure policy, but Li Fan does not have the mind to care about these things at this moment. After he finished the exam, he immediately returned to the billiard hall. But when he arrived, he unexpectedly saw a familiar face. This place is closed. No one is allowed to enter. Guan Wenbao is standing at the billiard hall's entrance like a door god, blocking outsiders from entering. I'm here to find Li Fan. Outside, a handsome man with a white jade-like face rolls his eyes. Quickly let this Taoist grandpa in. Otherwise, I'll hit you. A lot of girls who have just finished school cannot help but peek at this handsome man. Because he is too handsome, especially because he practices martial arts all year round, he has a unique, expert demeanor. Those little fresh meats on TV simply cannot compare to him. Not letting. Guan Wenbao stubbornly guards his position. Especially you. Absolutely not letting. Why? The handsome man is somewhat surprised. Jealous of my handsomeness? I'm sorry. This is a face bestowed to me by the heavens. I cannot refuse. Benefactor said that if a man is dressed in white, he is either narcissistic or perverted. Guan Wenbao says in all seriousness, you don't look like a narcissist. Fuck. Who is your benefactor? You dare to spout nonsense. Pull him out for a fight. Today, the handsome man is wearing a white trench coat, a pair of white pants, and a pair of white leather shoes. His long hair is tied into a ponytail, making him look casual and elegant, which can really attract a lot of young girls. But to Guan Wenbao, this is called showing off his coquettishness, which is not manly. Benefactor. He just happened to come over. Guan Wenbao's gaze falls behind the handsome man. The handsome man's hand is on his waistband, and his mouth shouts. Let him see this Taoist grandpa's big sword. Fuck, how come it's you? Yan Kai looks at the approaching Li Fan with a face full of black lines. As a Taoist priest, your mouth is full of profanity? Is this good? Not at all. I cultivate the free and unfettered Tao. Yan Kai said proudly, I'm happy to be free and unfettered. Why worry about nothing? If you recover from your injuries, go back to the mountains and cultivate. Or find a place to start your career as a model. What are you doing here? Li Fan waved his hand. Old Guan, chase him away. All right. When Guan Wenbao heard this, he immediately became excited and rolled up his sleeves. Yin Kai hurriedly said, Hey, why are you in such a hurry? Why are you chasing me away? Then what exactly do you want? Li Fan, you can't play like this. Because of you, I lost my job in the embroidered uniform guard. You have to take responsibility for me. Feeling wronged, Yin Kai said, Because of you, I suffered so much pain and lost so much blood. Have you forgotten? Guan Wenbao's gaze was a little strange. Li Fan almost broke down and shouted at Yin Kai. Fuck, can you not be so ambiguous? Old Guan, don't overthink. It's not what you think. What are you afraid of? The two of us are above board. Why do we need to explain? Yin Kai said generously. Fuck off. Who's above board with you? Bah, I don't know you. Go away. Li Fan couldn't stand it anymore. The surrounding girls were very regretful. Hey, such a handsome man is actually gay. Why do all good men become gay? I want to save him. Save your appearance first. The surrounding people's discussion made Li Fan very depressed. But Yin Kai acted as if he didn't hear it and continued to talk to Li Fan. In short, you have to take responsibility for me. Now that I have no job, I have to find a way to survive. My expenses are very high. Clothes, cosmetics, these are all money. Fuck, that has nothing to do with me. Li Fan wanted to cry, but no tears came out. After all, I lost my job because of you. Yin Kai said seriously, the genie guard is a very promising job. The monthly salary is more than 10,000. You see, even if I work for you, you can't give me so much money. I don't mind, as long as you arrange a job for me. Otherwise, I will hang a banner in front of your billiard hall every day, telling you that you are unscrupulous. Okay, let's talk inside. There were so many people outside, and Li Fan didn't want to make things worse. If she allowed Yin Kai to cry and make a fuss, how would she be able to survive in the school in the future if rumors were to spread? Li Fan invited Yin Kai into the billiard hall. As soon as Yin Kai came in, he immediately covered his nose. It's so dirty, smelly and dirty. Why is it like a pigsty? When did you clean it? How can it be a pigsty? This is our career. Huang Lei was sitting at the side, scratching his feet. When he heard this, he was immediately unhappy. He stood up and shouted, One more word, and I will tear your mouth off. Yin Kai stretched out his hand, and a billiard ball on the table immediately flew up. It tore through the air, smashed through the wall beside Huang Lei, and embedded itself in it. Actually, it's good to have some opinions. It's for the better development of our billiard hall, hee. Huang Lei wiped his cold sweat, but in his heart, he was cursing. Damn it, too dangerous. This is too much. Guan Wenbao kicked open the box next to him, and the Yinyue Dao popped out. Guan Wenbao picked up the shaft with one hand, and the blade with the other, and assembled them together. You dare to bully our people in our territory? I want to see how strong you are today. As he spoke, he waved his sword and pointed it at Yin Kai opposite him. Huang Lei was touched. Old Guan, you are too kind. Don't mention it. Guan Wenbao said indifferently, If my dog is bullied, I will also be angry. Fuck your ancestors. The gratitude in Huang Lei's heart had completely disappeared. You two can fight, but don't destroy my things. Li Fan reminded, otherwise, I'll turn my back on you. Okay, since Li Fan has agreed, I will play with you. Yin Kai laughed. Seeing that you are holding the Yinyue Dao, you must be practicing the Guan family's saber technique. Good eyesight. The internal energy you used just now seems to be Wudong's Tai Chi. Guan Wenbao was not inferior, which surprised Yin Kai. Good. It is my honor to fight with the descendant of the Guan family today. As Yin Kai spoke, he opened his hands, and the Tai Chi power in his body began to move. The billiard balls on the 4 tables all flew up and floated around him, as if Yin Kai was the center of the universe, and those billiard balls were moving planets. Freedom Cultivator, Yin Kai, the descendant of the Guan family, Guan Wenbao. The two of them said their names together, and at the same time, their true energy began to surge. Big brother, can I stand behind you? Huang Lei asked Li Fan. Coward. Chapter 231. It was no wonder that Huang Lei was afraid. It was indeed very scary for these two masters to fight in this small billiard hall. As the saying goes, when immortals fight, mortals suffer. Although these two were not immortals, they were almost at the level of mortals. Remember, don't break my things. Li Fan emphasized again. The two were still calm, staring at each other. Neither of them was in a hurry to make a move. As the saying goes, the first to strike has the upper hand, and the last to strike will suffer. But in a real fight, this method was not suitable. Whoever made the first move would be the one who showed the first flaw. Guan Wanbao and Yin Kai were two such masters. They were waiting for each other to make the first move. Guan Wanbao raised his Yinyue Dao, while Yin Kai used Tai Chi to control the billiards around him. Their gazes collided first, each filled with hostility. Brother, I'm hungry. After waiting for half an hour, Huang Lei touched his belly and said, Why don't you order a meal? I think so. The two waited for more than 20 minutes. Suddenly, the door was pushed open, and the waiter of the noodle restaurant next door shouted, Who ordered egg noodles? Come out and pay. Hearing his shout, Yin Kai and Guan Wenbao's tense nerves suddenly relaxed. Yin Kai was the first one. He had been staring at every detail of Guan Wenbao's body. Suddenly, he heard a shout. His attacking instinct suddenly broke out, and the surrounding billiard balls bounced toward Guan Wenbao one by one. Who was Guan Wenbao? He was the descendant of the Guan family. His Guan family's saber technique was like a mad dragon rising from the sea, incisively and vividly. With so many billiard balls in front of him, he just waved the big knife in his hand and swung it like a crescent moon, splitting the billiard balls in half. Damn, young master's billiard balls. Although there were spare billiard balls in the shop, seeing these billiard balls being cut in half continuously made his heart bleed. I told you not to cause any damage, Li Fan roared angrily, but the two of them had already turned a deaf ear to what was happening outside. The little brother who delivered the noodles was so scared that he peed his pants. He threw the 2 bowls of noodles on the ground and ran away. Oh my God, it's haunted. The sky was filled with billiard balls. In his eyes, it was like a haunted place. Li Fan hurriedly stretched out his hand and used his true chi to catch the 2 bowls of noodles. His other hand pulled down, and the iron door of the billiard hall immediately fell with a loud bang, smashing countless dust on the ground. Damn, I almost wasted 2 bowls of noodles. Li Fan wiped his sweat. Lei, remember to return the money. Don't worry, big bro. It's Alipay. Huang Lei caught the noodles that Li Fan pulled over with his true chi, then pulled out a chair and sat together with Li Fan, eating the noodles while watching the 2 clowns fight. Yin Kai's internal Tai Chi was very overbearing. The billiard balls flew freely in the air, as if they were living spirits, repeatedly attacking Guan Wenbao's weak points. But the crescent blade in Guan Wenbao's hands was obviously a piece of heavy iron, but it was weightless. He used it as if it was a toy. No matter which direction the billiard balls came from, they were unable to hurt a single hair on Guan Wenbao's body. Finally, Yin Kai also discovered that his attacks could not hurt Guan Wenbao. Tai Chi was originally a move that used defense as offense. Because of the person who delivered the noodles, he was confused, otherwise he would not be so passive. But Guan Wenbao was not impatient, nor did he attack. He just blocked Yin Kai's attack, as if he was purposely exhausting Yin Kai's patience. Don't think that Guan Wenbao was usually naive, but once the fight started, he was never careless. The 2 people's strength seemed to be evenly matched, and Guan Wenbao vaguely had the upper hand. Li Fan crossed his arms, feeling a little strange. Guan Wenbao's hands seemed to be even better than before when they fought. Different from him, Guan Wenbao usually, besides looking after the store, he was training. It could be said that his diligence in martial arts far surpassed him. If he trained for an hour a day, Guan Wenbao trained for at least 10 hours, or even more. Maybe Guan Wenbao did not have the talent of him in Yin Kai and martial arts, but he was undoubtedly the most diligent one. Total annihilation. Guan Wenbao suddenly made a move and directly swept out with his saber. Yin Kai was a little surprised. Obviously, he had already adapted to the rhythm of Guan Wenbao's defense. He did not expect him to suddenly attack. Tai Chi generates yin and yang. But Yin Kai was, after all, an expert in Tai Chi. He suddenly stretched out his left hand and attached it to Guan Wenbao's saber, preparing to use Guan Wenbao's strength to make him lose his balance. But Guan Wenbao seemed to have already predicted Yin Kai's move. He smiled, and then the true qi in his body boiled, quickly pouring into the saber and rubbing at high speed. Guan Wenbao's saber actually carried a crimson flame, which was caused by the high heat produced by the friction between the true qi and the air. Although it did not last for a long time, it was enough for Guan Wenbao. Yin Kai felt that Guan Wenbao's saber was like a sea of fire, unexpectedly not affected by his Tai Chi force. Yin Kai was not stupid. It was impossible for him to use his Tai Chi force to resist. He opened his arms and jumped up like a rock spreading its wings. In a blink of an eye, he landed on the billiard table behind him, dodging Guan Wenbao's flame version of total annihilation, as expected of a descendant of the Guan family. Amazing! Yin Kai did not feel nervous at all. Instead, he gave a thumbs up to Guan Wenbao. Since that's the case, I should also take out some real skills. Saying that, Yin Kai took out his belt with one hand and put the other hand in his pocket. Those who did not know would think that Yin Kai was a cool person. But Li Fan understood that this guy was afraid of his pants falling off. My Guan family's saber technique has never been lenient, Guan Wenbao said. You should have fought me seriously earlier. It's my fault. Yin Kai apologized honestly. I neglected the dignity of a martial artist. I want to apologize to you. I'm sorry. Saying that, he raised the belt in his hand and pointed at Guan Wenbao. But from now on, I will not make such a low-level mistake. I will give you a fair and square defeat. That's hard to say. Watch my saber. Guan Wenbao shouted loudly. Following that, he waved the crescent moon saber in his hand, forming a crescent moon in the air and slashed at Yin Kai. Yin Kai retreated and landed on the wall behind him. His feet were stuck to the top of the wall with true qi. Just as Guan Wenbao's saber was about to fall on the billiard table, it stopped abruptly a centimeter away from the table. Dang! The billiard table was fine, but a deep trench appeared on the ground below it. Guan Wenbao's crescent moon saber was used to perfection. Chapter 232. Don't even think about dodging. Guan Wenbao turned his body and swung the Yin-US saber in his hand, aiming straight for Yin Kai's head. Although it was a sparring match, Guan Wenbao did not hold back at all. This was a battle between martial artists. When it came to a real fight, there was no need to stop. Good timing. However, Yin Kai held the sword on his belt and placed it directly on top of Guan Wenbao's saber. The Tai Chi force started to spin and sucked in Guan Wenbao's saber. This time, Guan Wenbao wanted to raise the flame again, but he did not expect that the moment he poured his true qi into it, it would be neutralized by the Tai Chi force on Yin Kai's sword. Guan Wenbao now realized that Yin Kai's strength was not as simple as he thought. His Tai Chi force was very pure and very powerful. Guan Wenbao tried to pull out his saber 3 times, but he did not manage to do so. Guan Wenbao, you are a good martial artist. You can see my new move. After losing to the commander, Yin Kai pondered for a few days in the hospital and finally created his own Tai Chi move. He did not expect that this move would be used on Guan Wenbao first. Yin Kai's belt jumped, and the true qi on his sword immediately caught Guan Wenbao's saber and sucked it to the wall beside him. This move was almost Yin Kai's ultimate move. From this move, one could see his exquisite control over true qi. This ball of true qi was like a lock, sucking in Guan Wenbao's saber, making it impossible for him to pull it out for a while. Although the duration was very short, it was enough for Yin Kai to make his move. Thanks for letting me win. Yin Kai looked at the wide-open Guan Wanbao and thought that he was going to win, so he stabbed his sword at Guan Wanbao's throat. Although there was no suction force, the true qi on the belt was still as hard as iron. This time, it would definitely pierce through Guan Wanbao's throat. However, Guan Wanbao's expression did not change. With a flick of his wrist and a twist of his palm, he actually removed the hilt of the saber. With a flick of the hilt, he stabbed at Yin Kai as well. Yin Kai was shocked. His belt had already been thrown out. It seemed that it was too late for him to block this heavy blow. Yin Kai subconsciously took out his other hand from his pocket, placed it on the handle of the knife, and pulled back. Guan Wanbao's body staggered forward. He stomped on the floor to stabilize himself. Yin Kai's pants had already been pushed down to his calves. Yin Kai was wearing a pair of pink underpants, and his flirtatious aura could not be concealed. Yin Kai hurriedly reached out to pull up his pants, but Guan Wanbao raised his leg and kicked Yin Kai, who was caught off guard, onto the billiard table. Guan Wanbao pressed the handle of his saber against Yin Kai's neck. His whole body stuck to Yin Kai, and his legs separated Yin Kai's legs, locking down all of Yin Kai's moves. Are you convinced? No. Yin Kai's self-esteem was very strong. He would rather die than submit. If you're not convinced, then obediently lie down. If you're so capable, then let go of this Taoist and let this Taoist put on his pants. Let's fight for 300 rounds. No way. You pervert. The two of them seemed to have reached an impasse, and no one was willing to give in to the other. Li Fan and Huang Lei were eating noodles, watching in high spirits. At this moment, the big iron door was suddenly pulled open. In Xiaoru walked in, and when she saw the scene, she was stunned. A beautiful man without pants was pressed down on the billiard table by a burly man. As for the other two men, they were slurping the noodles while pointing at them excitedly. I'm disturbing you guys. You guys continue. In Xiaoru retreated and silently closed the iron door. Fuck, you two. Stop messing around. Business is here. Li Fan quickly put the bowl to the side, got up, and called out to In Xiaoru. Yin Kai and Guan Wanbao also stood up awkwardly, as if realizing how ambiguous their posture was. Miss Yin, don't misunderstand. Guan Wanbao quickly said, there's nothing like that between the two of us. Please don't misunderstand. That's right. We're fine. Yin Kai also explained. It's just that he used his big stick to subdue me for a while. In Xiaoru had an expression that said, I understand, while Guan Wanbao wanted to kill someone. That's true. Why are you looking at me with a murderous look? Did I say something wrong? Yin Kai still felt wronged. The one who was pressed down on the billiard table is me, okay? Why don't you guys continue for a while? I can come back an hour later, In Xiaoru said in a considerate manner. No need. The two of them can do it on the bed later. Let's talk business now. Li Fan waved his hand. Let's talk business now, business. Here's 50,000 yuan, not a cent less. In Xiaoru took out 5 bundles of money from her backpack and put them on the billiard table. You guys count it? It's not that potion money again, right? Huang Lei took out one and looked at it under the light. It looks real. Of course it's real. In Xiaoru rolled her eyes. We're going to be together for so long. Why would I cheat you with fake money? It's okay. I believe her. Li Fan pushed the money back. Put the money in the billiard hall first. Take 10,000 yuan for the road. Then Lei, is the car ready? Yes. Huang Lei nodded. It's a Wuling Guang with new tires. It can run a few hundred kilometers back and forth. Then, I need to inspect the goods. Li Fan said to In Xiaoru, we can't go there. If you say the goods are wrong, we can't explain. Here it is. In Xiaoru took out a black cinerary casket, and Huang Lei panicked. Damn, are you shooting a horror film? It's safer to put it in here. In Xiaoru opened the urn. It was filled with foam, and a pure gold Buddha was sandwiched in the middle. Huang Lei's eyes turned green when he saw the Buddha. It's really pure gold. How much is this thing worth? If it's converted to RMB, I won't be able to spend it all my life. The value of this thing can't be measured by money. Yin Xiaoru rolled her eyes. Since you've seen it, shouldn't we go? Okay. Li Fan nodded. Be careful along the way. Except for eating and refueling, try not to stop. That's for the best. Yin Xiaoru also agreed. Have you decided on the route? Yes, our military counselor ordered it. Li Fan said. It's the safest route of all. Okay, let's go to a place first. Where are we going first? Yin Xiaoru was curious. Where were they going before leaving? To the cram school to pick up our military counselor. Li Fan chuckled. Yin Xiaoru was speechless. He found a group of high school students to escort him. How could they be reliable? Wait a minute. Yin Kai suddenly stopped them. Chapter 233. Wait a minute. Yin Kai suddenly stopped them. Li Fan turned around, not knowing what this brother was up to. What else do you want, man without pants? Li Fan gave Yin Kai a suitable title. Yin Kai was depressed, but he endured it and changed his words. Mortals, this Taoist grandpa is the son of God who descended to the human world. This Taoist grandpa needs a chance to travel the human world to understand the suffering of the human world. Now that this Taoist grandpa is giving you such a chance, aren't you grateful? Speak properly. Li Fan stared at Yin Kai. My career is over. I need to find a job, or I will starve to death. Yin Kai said, feeling wronged. I need a job? All right. Li Fan pointed at the van. I'll give you a chance. Start as an escort. 2,000 a month. 2,000 is too little. Yin Kai was furious. Even selling sausages is more profitable than this. Then go ahead and sell sausages. I won't stop you. Li Fan shrugged his shoulders. Let's part ways on good terms. Goodbye. All right. 2,000 it is then. Yin Kai immediately agreed. It's better than starving. Get in the van. Li Fan thought that he had swindled another fighter. But if you don't do well, I'll fire you. This Taoist grandpa is the descendant of the martial song star. Escorting an escort is nothing to me. Yin Kai chuckled, causing everyone to roll their eyes. Yin Xiaoru was a little nervous. Relying on these people, could they really successfully deliver the golden Buddha statues to Flying Flower Town? This time, Huang Lei borrowed a van from someone. The van was very spacious and could seat 7 people. Huang Lei was in charge of driving while Guan Wanbao sat in the front passenger seat. Li Fan and Yin Kai sat in the back, protecting Yin Xiaoru's golden Buddha statues. Not long later, Bai Linluo also got in the van. This brother was actually wearing a special forces uniform. Who knows where he got it from, making him look like a special police officer. Bro, are you going to save hostages in CS? When Huang Lei saw Bai Linluo's expression, he couldn't help but complain. Don't you think this is very professional? Bai Linluo pressed down on the brim of his cap. This uniform was given to me by my cousin. He's a special police officer from Hong Kong. I asked him to mail it to me. After all, we're going out to do a mission. We have to be formal. Bai Linluo said seriously, how can it be so casual? Look at Huang Lei. He's just short of wearing a pair of pants. Why are you speaking so irresponsibly? Huang Lei wasn't happy to hear that. It's such a cold day. I'll freeze to death if I wear underwear. Besides, if he only wore a pair of underpants, wouldn't that make him look like a hooligan? Why didn't you say that I came out wearing slippers? I'm not that immoral. I still have a bottom line for you. This bottom line is too sloppy. The two of them started bickering as they talked. Yin Xiaoru covered her face at the side. Was she really making the right choice for this team? This group of people wouldn't have an accident on the way, right? You see, we're not the only pair of clowns. Yin Kai said proudly to Guan Wanbao. You see, there's another pair. Guan Wanbao kept his mouth shut. It seemed that he didn't want to talk to Yin Kai. Okay, everyone stop messing around. Let's get down to business. Li Fan turned around and looked at Yin Xiaoru beside him. Miss Yin, since we're all on the same boat, we should be on the same side. Now, can you tell us who your main enemies are? Who can it be? Ahaha. Yin Xiaoru laughed. It's nothing more than those little thieves. It's nothing to you. I don't think so. Li Fan smiled. His smile seemed to have a deeper meaning. As far as I know, the Imperial Secret Service seems to have their eyes on this thing. Isn't that right? What are you talking about? I don't understand. Yin Xiaoru continued to play dumb. I'm just a little girl. How could the Imperial Secret Service have their eyes on me? Miss Yin Xiaoru, take a closer look. Who is this person? It was too late that night. Yin Xiaoru didn't notice Yin Kai's appearance. At this time, according to Li Fan's words, she carefully looked at Yin Kai. Suddenly, she turned pale with fright. She subconsciously looked out of the window. Miss Yin, don't panic. Although he and I were the ones who caught you that day, we're no longer in the Imperial Secret Service because of a coincidence. Li Fan pressed his hand on Yin Xiaoru's shoulder to prevent her from doing something reckless. Why should I believe you? Yin Xiaoru's heart was indeed filled with fear, especially towards Li Fan, the man who had caught her. She vaguely remembered that she once competed with a student in Qinggong. It seemed to be him. Oh my God, she had face blindness. She usually didn't care about it, but this time, she really suffered a big loss. Why would I lie to you? Even the commander's chrysanthemum was broken by us. Yin Kai immediately said. Yin Xiaoru was so scared that her face turned pale. Did these two really have bad hobbies? Can you not speak so ambiguously? Li Fan almost cried in anger. This Yin Kai, why does his words always have that kind of meaning? It's too easy to misunderstand. How did I speak ambiguously? Yin Kai himself didn't seem to notice. Am I wrong? In short, the local commander has been killed by the two of us. Li Fan suddenly said with a murderous look. The two of us have long been on the Imperial Secret Service's blacklist. If you think we're trouble, you can get off now. But I can only refund you half the money. Yin Xiaoru almost collapsed. This Li Fan was simply an unscrupulous businessman. Miss Yin, you can trust us. Bai Lin Luo pushed his glasses and said, right now, the car is full of our people. If we wanted to rob, we would have already done it. I'm telling you this because I hope that we can be more open and honest with each other. Okay. Yin Xiaoru didn't have any other way. She had already boarded the pirate ship. Then I'll tell you the truth. I'm the legendary flying cat. How about it? Are you scared? Do you admire me? It's not too late to ask for my autograph. This was the first time Yin Xiaoru told others about her identity. As for her master, she was not considered as an outsider. Flying cat? What's that? Wang Lei asked while driving. Yin Xiaoru was so angry that she almost went berserk. It's the world's #1 strange thief. Oh, that's just a thief. What's there to admire? What's the use of a thief's autograph? It's not worth much. As Huang Lei complained, Yin Xiaoru took out a dart from her pocket. Can I kill him? Chapter 234. Forget it. Li Fan quickly pulled Yin Xiaoru's hand. We're all in the same boat. Don't kill each other. It's not good. I can't take it anymore. Yin Kai had been holding it in for a long time. He finally exploded. We're in the same car, not the same boat. Yin Kai emphasized, in the same car. In the same car. Important things must be repeated 3 times, remember? Oh. Li Fan nodded, then continued to speak to Yin Xiaoru. Just like my friend said, we're all in the same boat. We have to think in the same direction and exert our strength in the same direction. Yin Kai was on the verge of going berserk. His OCD was driving him crazy. You dare to go against the flow. You deserve the wrath of the heavens. Don't be noisy. I'm talking business with our esteemed client. Li Fan glared at Yin Kai. Then Yin Kai calmed down and sat to the side, sulking. Missine, our escort agency doesn't care what your identity is. Since you've delivered the escort, we'll deliver it to the destination. So, don't worry, we understand the rules. I can be rest assured, but you also know that the people coming to kill you are from the embroidered uniform guard. In Xiaoru looked worriedly at Li Fan. Your escort agency has just been established, including the escort you just recruited. There are only 3 people. Can you really stop the embroidered uniform guard? This golden Buddha is a birthday gift from the Wang family and the commander of the embroidered uniform guard. Now that I've stolen it, I'm afraid the embroidered uniform guard won't let us off. Then how can you be sure that this thing will be delivered to Flying Flower Town without fail? Li Fan couldn't help but ask. Because this thing originally belonged to Flying Flower Town. In Xiaoru said, although this golden Buddha is called an antique, it's actually a tribute from the late Qing dynasty. So, this thing can be kept as a personal collection. It was originally a family heirloom of an ordinary villager in Flying Flower Town, but it was cheated by the Wang family for 5,000 yuan. 5,000 yuan? These golden Buddhas? Li Fan was shocked. This thing weighed more than 10 kilograms. Adding the craftsmanship and collection value, it could be sold for at least 3 million. What a scam. $5,000 for something worth millions. Bai Linluo was also very discerning. He grinned. How shameless must a person be to do this? He is indeed an unscrupulous businessman. Tsk. Li Fan felt that the profiteer was referring to him. He coughed dryly and asked, "Can you tell me exactly how you did it?" At that time, the owner of this golden Buddha was seriously ill. In order to treat him, his family hid it from the owner and temporarily mortgaged the golden Buddha to the pawn shop opened by the Wang family. In Xiaoru said, not long after that, they made enough money to redeem it, but the gold Buddha statues had already been replaced. When Master heard about this, he fell seriously ill again. I wonder how he is doing now. She looked a little depressed. When I first came down the mountain, I was so hungry that I couldn't eat. Fortunately, their family took care of me. A cat burglar actually knew how to be grateful. Li Fan secretly muttered in his heart. This world seemed to be a bit messy. Good people do bad things, and bad people do good things. This was the current society. In short, I must send this thing back to Flying Flower Town. When I get there, even the embroidered uniform guards can't rob other people's things. And before that, I'm afraid I will be in a lot of difficulties. It's okay. Different situations call for different actions. Li Fan comforted In Xiaoru. After this business, we will all go our own ways. As long as you don't provoke us, we don't know who the flying cat is. Nice words, but you have to do it well. If you can't, I'll refund you the money. Humph, it's not about money. If you can't do it well, I will fight with you. When In Xiaoru said this, she did have a bit of the flying cat vibe. I just have something, but I don't know if I should say it. Yin Kai seemed to be a bit unable to hold back and took over the topic. Are you a talkative person? Guan Wenbao couldn't help but ridicule. It's enough to have Huang Lei as a talkative person. Too much. I am a proud son of heaven. How can I be compared to a stinky hooligan? Yin Kai immediately protested. Hey, who are you calling a stinky hooligan? Huang Lei was immediately unhappy. Do you believe I won't drive the car into a ditch? If this isn't a stinky hooligan, then what is? Yin Kai immediately shouted. This isn't called a hooligan. Li Fan teased. This is called a rascal. If Big Brother says I am a rascal, then I am a rascal. Huang Lei immediately said frankly, whatever Big Brother says. Yin Kai curled his lips. I am extremely speechless towards you. You only know how to flatter. You can't say that. Flattering depends on who is doing it. Huang Lei said his own flattery. You see, in our team, there are people who play with knives, come up with ideas, and sell buttocks. As for me, I am responsible for flattering my big brother, making him feel comfortable. Wait a minute. Yin Kai suddenly stretched out his hand. The one who plays with knives is Guan Wenbao. The one who comes up with ideas is this cosplayer and who sells buttocks. It's definitely not my big brother. Huang Lei whistled. Who's the last one? You don't have to say it. Can I stab him to death? Yin Kai touched his waistband and asked Li Fan. Okay, stop it. I have been listening to you guys bickering all the way here. Li Fan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How come there are 4 living treasures in my team? It's fine if it's others, but why is this by Lin Luo carrying a huge backpack? What's in your backpack? Li Fan finally couldn't help but ask. Of course, it's the things to bring when we go out. Bai Lin Luo was still excited. There are a lot of things to prepare. You see, this is the camping tent, this is the instant food, this is the compressed biscuit, this is the insect repellent. Damn, do you think we are going to have a picnic? Seeing Bai Lin Luo stuffed a lot of potato chips and ham sausages, Li Fan was speechless. This is my first time going far away, so I have to take it seriously. Bai Lin Luo said shyly. I can tolerate you bringing these, but why did you bring 2 dumbbells? I usually work out. Bai Lin Luo said seriously, even if it's a picnic, it can't be considered as exercise. No, it's escorting. You've already exposed yourself. Li Fan wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. At this time, Guan Wanbao, who has been sitting there with his eyes closed, suddenly had his eyes lit up. He picked up Bai Lin Luo's 2 dumbbells and sat in the car to exercise his arms. My God, In Xiaoru was about to collapse. Is this team reliable? Chapter 235. In Xiaoru thought that there was still hope for this team, but Yin Kai finally asked his question. Actually, what I want to say is 3 of us are on the blacklist. Is this mission really not dangerous? In Xiaoru suddenly felt like crying. They don't know that the 3 of us are together. Li Fan waved his hand, and Yin Kai added, but I have a bad feeling about this. Don't jinx it. Stop. Huang Lei was scolding Yin Kai when Li Fan suddenly raised his hand to silence everyone. Someone is coming. As he spoke, Huang Lei turned around and reminded him, Big bro, there's a car chasing us. In Xiaoru immediately looked back and saw a black Toyota quietly following them. She didn't know when it had driven over. It wasn't just this Toyota. Soon, a few more Toyotas approached them. In Xiaoru counted a total of 4 Toyotas chasing them on the highway. I didn't expect them to catch up to us on this road. Bai Lin Luo pushed his glasses up. It seems that the enemies we provoked this time are not ordinary. They want to kill us completely. Of course, after all, the 3 of us are on the blacklist. Yin Kai said proudly, the Brocade clan guards naturally give us special treatment. Fuck, is this something to be proud of? Wang Lei was speechless. This Master Yin Kai's brain was a little out of whack. They're ready to make a move. The 4 Toyotas seemed to want to block the van, but Bai Lin Luo had already put on his headphones and turned on his computer. The car's GPS appeared on the map. They didn't know what he was calculating, but he seemed to be very confident. It's just a few flags. Seeing a few Brocade clan guards in black vests sticking their heads out of the Toyota, Yin Kai curled his lips. They're looking down on us. The Brocade clan guards flipped over and landed on the roof of the Toyota. There were 4 Brocade clan guards squatting on top of the 4 Toyotas, each with 2 darts in their hands. Old Guan, protect the car. Li Fan instructed. Guan Wenbao immediately opened the door, flipped over, and landed on the roof of the van. Then, like a door god, he held his crescent blade and stood on the roof. At the same time, 4 embroidered uniform guards threw their darts at the van's tires. But who was Guan Wanbao? How could he let them have their way? He immediately swung the crescent moon blade in his hand, and the blade sent the darts flying again and again. No matter how many darts were thrown, they could not break through Guan Wanbao's defense. Yin Kai, go play with them. Li Fan snapped his fingers, and Yin Kai smiled. I'm bored. Yin Kai also jumped out of the car, but with a tug of his hand, his whole body suddenly fell into a Toyota behind. The Brocade Clan guards in the car were startled, and they hurriedly threw 4 darts at Yin Kai. The 4 darts arrived in front of Yin Kai in the blink of an eye, aiming for the space between his eyebrows. But Yin Kai did not care. He swung his right hand, and the power of Tai Chi was activated. The 4 darts were absorbed by his power, and in an instant, they hit the body of another Brocade Clan guard, sending him flying and crashing into the nearby field. Yin Kai appeared in front of the Brocade Clan guard who attacked him, and a smile appeared on his face. I'm here to play with you, my dear. Yin Kai winked at the Brocade Clan guard, and a layer of cold sweat appeared on the latter's back. He did not know why his anus suddenly tightened. He subconsciously pulled out the goose feather blade from his waist and stabbed it toward Yin Kai's heart. But Yin Kai did not move. The goose feather blade automatically slid to the side when it reached Yin Kai's body. Yin Kai had already cultivated the power of Tai Chi to every part of his body. Other people usually had a protective aura around their body, but the power of Tai Chi that Yin Kai cultivated was different. His protective true chi could deflect all attacks that got close to him. Yin Kai was the only one who could comprehend this move. The other young disciples of Wudong's sect could not comprehend such a powerful protective technique. Why else would they say that Yin Kai was a genius disciple? The Brocade Clan guard was shocked when he saw his goose feather blade was tilted to the side, as if it had chopped into a wall of wind. Go back and practice some more, Yin Kai said, and his shoulder hit the chest of the Brocade Clan guard. Bang! The Brocade Clan guard's body was immediately sent flying, and he crashed into the car behind him, and then bounced off to the side. If he did not have protective aura, he would definitely be bleeding on the spot. In the blink of an eye, only 2 Brocade Clan guards were left standing on the roof of the car. But another 2 Brocade Clan guards climbed out of the Toyota and joined the attack. Yin Kai understood that if he wanted to deal with these people, he had to use some special skills. He grabbed the air in the direction of the car next to him and then pulled it towards him. The Toyota was immediately pulled by his true energy, and it slid, directly crashing into the car below Yin Kai. The 2 Toyotas immediately rolled and fell to the side of the road. Yin Kai somersaulted in the air and landed on the roof of the other Toyota. He smashed the front windshield with his palm and then threw the driver out. The car suddenly went out of control and suddenly rushed out of the road, crashing to the side. At this time, the last car fiercely crashed into the van, as if it was determined to perish together with the van. Yin Kai's feet bounced on the ground, and he caught up with the last Toyota. Then, he pulled out his belt, and with the belt transformed into a sword, he slashed at the car. The true energy on the Tai Chi sword pulled the Toyota, and it flew up, crashing into the big tree next to it with a bang. For a moment, it was stuck to the tree trunk and stayed there for more than a second. After a second, the car fell to the ground. Yin Kai leaped up and stepped on the crescent moon blade that Guan Wenbao handed out and lightly landed back into the van. Piece of cake. Yin Kai returned to the car and pointed 2 fingers at Li Fan. This little bit of manpower is not enough for this Dao master to toy with. We're almost at the tunnel, Bai Lin Luo reminded. Looking at the Toyotas that were far behind them, Li Fan ordered, Old Guan, you come back as well. We're going to the lounge. Okay. Guan Wenbao nodded and returned to the car. Seeing this scene, In Xiaoru seemed to have some confidence in her heart. This team seems to have some strength. The 50,000 yuan seems to have not been spent in vain. Bai Lin Luo suddenly started counting down. The 1-minute countdown caused In Xiaoru to not understand what was going on. Chapter 236. But after a minute, she understood. The van began to slow down as it entered a tunnel. There was also a truck slowing down in the tunnel. As the van entered, Li Fan jumped out of the van and landed behind the truck's huge trunk. He opened the trunk and let out a metal plate, dragging it on the ground. The van suddenly sped up and rushed into the trunk along the metal plate. Li Fan quickly put away the metal plate, closed the trunk door, and returned to the van. It was dark in the trunk. Huang Lei turned on the headlights, and everyone regained their sight. Done. Bai Linluo saw the GPS light up outside the tunnel and took off his headphones in relief. No one knows where we are from now on. Yin Xiaoru was shocked by Bai Linluo's brain. He actually thought of such a method. The embroidered uniform guards would definitely not discover that their target had already disappeared from their surveillance without anyone noticing. Who would have thought that Li Fan and the others would hide in the trunk of a truck? Missing. The cost of hiring a large trailer is very high. Li Fan smiled at Yin Xiaoru, but since you are our first client, I will help you pay for it. This is the purpose of our escort agency. What do you think, Missing? Are you touched? Touched to death. Yin Xiaoru rolled her eyes. Although this escort agency was reliable, the escorts were too shameless. Now we can enjoy our picnic. Bai Linluo chuckled and took out some ham sausages from his bag. I'm not hungry. I can't eat ham sausages. Li Fan refused, but Yin Kai was very domineering. I am the favored son of heaven. How can I eat this kind of junk food? Do you guys have any melon seeds? Give me some. The few of them were really bored. Only Guan Wanbao got out of the van and stood guard at the back of the van with his Yinyue blade. Li Fan told him to rest, but he didn't listen. Bai Linluo took out a deck of cards and started playing landlord with Li Fan and Huang Lei. Yin Kai didn't know much about poker, so he just sat there and watched them play. Sigh, it would be great if you had mahjong. Yin Kai sighed. Bai Linluo immediately said, yes, I brought it. With that said, Bai Linluo really took out a set of mahjong tiles from his bag. Then, he opened the mahjong box, and it turned out to be a small table. The van was quite spacious. The four of them sat around the table and started playing the healthy national puzzle game. Yin Xiaoru was speechless. These people were really playing mahjong. I'm drunk. I'm really drunk. Are they really bodyguards? Escortly, isn't it a little inappropriate for you to play like this? Yin Xiaoru finally couldn't take it anymore. She felt like her temple was about to explode. It's pretty good. It can pass the time and train the brain. It's really interesting. Li Fan rubbed the mahjong tiles and said casually, why don't Missing play a few rounds as well? If you win, it's on you, and if you lose, it's on me. Only a ghost would want to play. Moreover, you're a high school student. Why are you playing mahjong? If not mahjong, what should we play? Do you want to hit planes? You're unreasonable. Yin Xiaoru was furious. This person's words were so vulgar. What kind of sport is hitting planes? Yin Kai didn't know about this joke and couldn't help but ask. It's a sport that trains the hands. Bai Linluo said with a straight face. Oh. Is it similar to the iron palm in martial arts? Yin Kai suddenly realized, I don't like the iron palm. My hands are full of calluses from practicing it. Isn't that so? Li Fan couldn't help but laugh. This kind of sport is really taxing on the hands. I suggest you do it less. Is this martial art very powerful? Guan Wenbao couldn't help but ask, compared to my saber technique, which is better? This martial art is called Five Dragons Embracing Pillar. When this martial art is practiced to the extreme, it can be cultivated into a unique Qilin arm. Li Fan said in a serious manner. It's so powerful. Can I practice it? Yes. Every man can. That's enough. Yin Xiaoru had had enough. These people didn't have any moral integrity. So, Miss Yin, you don't have to worry. Li Fan continued. Since I promised to deliver you safely, I'll do it even if I have to sacrifice my life. As for other things, you don't have to worry about it. You guys are really not professional at all. Yin Xiaoru was on the verge of collapse. This isn't how an escort should act. Our escort agency has its own way. Li Fan emphasized, everyone likes to do things in their own way. Don't we have a traditional escort? Look, he's standing behind the car. As a descendant of the Guan family, he's responsible. Seeing Guan Wenbao, Yin Xiaoru was more or less pleased. He's different from you guys who act recklessly. Then, she shouted outside, young hero Guan, why don't you come in and take a rest? Aren't you tired standing outside? Guan Wenbao didn't respond. Young hero Guan? Yin Xiaoru shouted again. Young hero Guan? Yin Kai glanced at her and said, don't shout. He's asleep. Yin Xiaoru was speechless. This was the first time she saw an escort agency like this. Maybe he slept late last night. Li Fan muttered, this guy. Every time he practices martial arts, he practices until midnight. He's too hardworking. Does practicing martial arts need that much time? Yin Kai punched a red middle and said, I think it's very casual. That means you're talented. Li Fan reminded Yin Kai, old Guan is different. He doesn't have any talent, so he works hard. As the saying goes, diligence makes up for stupidity. Old Guan's diligence made him a martial artist. You're talented, but you don't practice. In the end, you're suppressed by him. How can you be so vulgar? Fuck off. You're not qualified to talk to me. Li Fan fiercely rolled his eyes at Yin Kai, but Yin Xiaoru could not take it anymore. She was extremely nervous right now. Although she was already hiding in the boxcar, she still felt uneasy in her heart. After all, the enemy she had to face was too terrifying, and her teammates were too funny. Damn it! When Huang Lei won 6 times in a row, Li Fan couldn't sit still anymore. Don't tell me you're cheating? I swear to God, brother. Huang Lei pretended to be sad, but he was laughing inside. I didn't cheat. You don't play often. How can you compare with me, an idler in society? Brother, military counselors are doing big things. I'm just a hooligan. I play mahjong when I have nothing to do. Hearing Huang Lei's words, Li Fan felt better. Just when Li Fan tried to get the money back, the truck suddenly stopped. Chapter 237. What's the matter? Bai Linluo immediately asked through the walkie-talkie. Boss, the road ahead is blocked. The truck driver replied. It seems like there's a hit and run. Road blocked? Li Fan and Yin Xiaoru looked at each other, feeling a little uneasy. Could it be a normal roadblock? If it was in the past, this kind of thing would never attract their attention. But today was different. This day was too special and sensitive. Guan Wenbao suddenly woke up, opened his eyes, and clenched his crescent blade. Stop the car? Although he was resting, he was in a state of pretending to sleep. Once there was any movement, he would immediately wake up. Looks like we have to change to walking for the time being. Li Fan gestured to Guan Wenbao. Next, it's up to you guys. Bai Linluo continued to stay here, execute Plan B. Long before they set off, Bai Linluo had already planned everything, including deducing all the things that would happen. This matter was not out of Bai Linluo's expectation. Miss Yin, come with me. Li Fan glanced at Yin Xiaoru. Don't you know how to disguise yourself? Can you disguise yourself as him? Li Fan pointed at Bai Linluo. Do you think I'm a god? I can change my face. Yin Xiaoru rolled her eyes. Then what if I take a step back and disguise myself as a man? That's possible, Yin Xiaoru said, walked into the car, and no one knew what she was busy with. After a while, when she walked out of the car, she had already disguised herself as an ordinary young man. Is this okay?
Yes.
Li Fan nodded. Then I'll have to trouble Miss Yin to follow me. The rest of you will go together. Leave the things with us, and then can Miss Yin do another disguise for me? No, I can change it a little. Yin Xiaoru didn't have a suitable mask for Li Fan, but she was the thousand-faced bandit flying cat after all. She took out her makeup bag, and in less than 10 minutes, she had slightly altered Li Fan's appearance. If one didn't look closely, they wouldn't be able to tell that it was a person. As for Li Fan, he also took a deep breath. Then, his body cracked a few times and his bones emitted bursting sounds. Not long after, his figure expanded to a height of more than 8 meters, which made Yin Xiaoru very surprised. Alien bone swap, good eyesight, Li Fan nodded, as expected of the famous thousand-faced bandit. This way, it would be much more stable. Old Guan, take the darts and go to the mainland. Miss Yin and I took the small path. Miss Yin, from now on, you're called Yin Air and I'm Li Si. Why am I second? You're Li Air, and I mean Si. Yin Xiaoru was unhappy, but Li Fan persuaded her. Miss Yin, this is all for the sake of the escort. Everyone should make appropriate sacrifices, right? Then why don't you sacrifice yourself and let me sacrifice myself? Because you're a lady. Ladies first. Go to hell. Yin Xiaoru really hated this Li Fan. Although the two of them were collaborators, he never did what she wanted. It was as if she was the employer. How could an employee not listen to the employer? What's more, this person had actually caught her once. This was very hard for the bandit Yin Xiaoru to accept. I don't want to sacrifice myself. I want to sacrifice you. Woman, you're really unreasonable. Li Fan sighed, as a magnanimous man. I'll sacrifice a little. I'm Li San, and you're Yin Si. Yin Xiaoru suddenly didn't want to speak. Okay. Now, let's split into two. Li Fan clapped his hands, and the escort's plan B officially began. Flying Flower Town was not big. It was a somewhat remote town. There was only a dirt road leading to Flying Flower Town. Right now, there were a few cars on this road that had collided with each other, causing the cars behind them to be unable to move an inch. Guan Wenbao, Yin Kai, and the others escorted a fake box as they followed the dirt road towards Flying Flower Town. As for Li Fan and Yin Xiaoru, they took advantage of the night to sneak out of the carriage and entered a forest. This was a path that Bai Lin Luo had found. They walked directly through the wilderness and crossed 2 mountains to enter the Flying Flower Town. However, this place was a bit far to walk. Li Fan and Yin Xiaoru had to conceal themselves, so they couldn't use Qinggong to advance. They could only choose to walk in a low profile. So many insects. Yin Xiaoru frowned. This kind of slow walking method was not in line with her habits, especially since there were a lot of mosquitoes here. It made a girl like her feel very uncomfortable. You'll get used to it. It's just a few mosquitoes. Li Fan, on the other hand, was leisurely walking in the wilderness under the night sky. The two of them had night vision, and with the help of the moonlight, it wasn't difficult for them to walk. Under the moonlight, the scenery in the mountains was indeed very beautiful. It was something that Li Fan, who grew up in the city, had never experienced before. All of this was a bit novel to him. Furthermore, it was already late autumn, but there was still a vast expanse of green in the mountains. It seemed that for this place, autumn and winter always came so late. Everything was full of vitality. Your grandpa, you've applied insect repellent, of course you're fine. Yin Xiaoru said angrily. Pay attention to your manners. Li Fan reminded Yin Xiaoru. You're a virtuous lady. Humph, this grandaunt has never been a virtuous lady. Yin Xiaoru snorted, then said, People of the Jianghu don't need to be so particular. Yin Xiao, Yin Si, I have a question that I've always wanted to ask you. Li Fan raised his own question. There are so many heroes in the Jianghu. Why do you like to be a thief? Pay attention to your words. Lida, Li San. Yin Xiaoru reminded Li Fan. I'm a chivalrous thief, not a thief. Please don't confuse me, and please respect my profession. What's the difference? Aren't we both stealing? Li Fan felt that Yin Xiaoru was raising him up. Of course it's different. Yin Xiaoru looked at Li Fan uncomfortably. This guy doesn't understand the Jianghu at all. How did he catch me this time? This is too shameful. First of all, a thief steals for himself. In Xiaoru raised a finger and said, but a chivalrous thief steals for others. Then what do you rely on to survive? Working. In Xiaoru said frankly, when I'm not a chivalrous thief, I work part-time to study. You still go to school? Nonsense. This grand is still in college. In Xiaoru rolled her eyes at Li Fan. Those who don't go to school are called illiterate. Yes, I'm a cultured thief. Chivalrous thief. Whatever. Then let me ask you another question. Li Fan threw out a question that made In Xiaoru stunned. What standard do you use to determine if stealing is good or evil? Chapter 238. Although she knew that Li Fan was a difficult person to deal with, In Xiaoru did not expect that he would actually ask such a question. This question really made In Xiaoru stunned. She originally looked forward to being a hero thief, stealing for the sake of other people's happiness. What a great career it was. In short, there are a lot of poor people who applaud and praise me. In Xiaoru thought for a long time, but did not know how to answer Li Fan, so she could only say, I brought them hope to live. Star of the poor? You seem to have an opinion? I don't have an opinion, but I feel that this is not good. Li Fan said very frankly, good and evil. This kind of thing should not be decided by you alone. TSK, what do you know? How can a sparrow and a swallow understand the ambition of a swan? In Xiaoru ridiculed Li Fan. You are such a selfish profiteer. How can you understand the joy of doing good? What about you? Why do you want to be an escort? For money, for fame. Li Fan did not have any intention to hide. I am not willing to be an ordinary youth. I want to become a rich man, and I want my name to spread throughout the pugilistic world. In the future, when people mention my name, Li Fan, they will either give me a thumbs up or be scared half to death. Vulgar ideals. Sure enough, we are not the same kind of people. In Xiaoru said with disgust. But you are the kind of person I hate the most. But you have to ask an annoying person like me for help. Li Fan laughed. In Si, just accept your fate. You are actually no different from me. Nonsense. My awareness is very high. In Xiaoru did not want to be grouped with Li Fan. My biggest wish is to eliminate poverty in this world, so that everyone can live a happy life. Idealist. You are too selfish. Li Fan shrugged his shoulders. All right then, the selfless Mr. In Si. Do you want some insect repellent? Of course. These little bugs are so annoying. But the selfish me won't give it to you. Li Fan chuckled and waved a small bottle in his hand. 100 yuan per bottle. Cash only. Profiteer. Shameless. Despicable. In Xiaoru was so angry that she cursed out loud. She wished that she could throw all the filthiest words in the world at Li Fan. What kind of escort leader is this guy? I must be blind to ask him to escort the goods. Once this mission is completed, I will never see him again. Just looking at him gave him a headache. Oh right, before I leave, I have to steal that 50,000 yuan back. I won't let him earn my money for nothing. He didn't even put in any effort. In Xiaoru secretly made a decision in her heart, while Li Fan said slowly beside her. In Si, are you thinking of stealing the 50,000 yuan back? Of course not. In Xiaoru was taken aback. Is this fellow a roundworm in my stomach? Don't even think about it. I admit that your stealing skills are very good, but if you want to steal from me, it's as difficult as ascending to heaven. Li Fan chuckled. You better think about this bottle of insect repellent. Do you want to buy it or not? Are you talking about this? In Xiaoru was holding the small bottle in Li Fan's hand, which made Li Fan shocked. When did you take it? This is called taking something out of one's pocket. It's just a small trick, humph humph. In Xiaoru was very proud. You want to fight with this Grandant? You're still too inexperienced. Really? The corner of Li Fan's mouth curled up slightly, then he snapped his fingers. In Xiaoru's vision blurred. Li Fan's figure actually disappeared in front of her. What's going on? Why did this person suddenly disappear? Did he see a ghost? In the blink of an eye, Li Fan had already returned to his original position. He lightly tossed the small bottle of insect repellent in the air. Are you looking for me? Or are you looking for it? In Xiaoru's delicate body trembled. Someone actually stole something from me. I am the thousand-faced bandit, flying cat. How can I lose to this unscrupulous profiteer? Ever since she was 12 years old, she had already stepped into the pugilistic world, pitting wits and courage against these unscrupulous profiteers. She had never failed before. In Xiaoru suddenly threw out a thin silk thread. The end of the silk thread was connected to a small sticky claw. This was In Xiaoru's thieving artifact. This trick of hers was almost 100% accurate. It was tried and tested. But what In Xiaoru did not expect was that Li Fan was a weirdo. Previously, because In Xiaoru's attack was too unexpected, Li Fan did not notice it. But now that he had his guard up, it would be hard for In Xiaoru to succeed. In Xiaoru's action was greatly slowed down in Li Fan's eyes. He could see a sticky claw swinging towards the insect repellent in his hand. Since he saw it, then it's useless. Li Fan's right hand held the bottle as his left hand shot out like lightning. Great Sage Star Plucking. This move of Li Fan's is very powerful. He easily pinched In Xiaoru's sticky claw between his fingers. In-si, you are already such an adult. Why do you still like to play with children's toys? You. In Xiaoru was flustered and exasperated. She had actually failed several times on Li Fan. This made her very irritated. Looking at Li Fan's proud face, she really wanted to go up and bite him. Since you don't want to buy it, then I will keep it. Li Fan placed the insect repellent back into his pocket. Our kind and righteous In-si will properly feed the mosquitoes in this mountain. You. Are you still a man? Don't you know how to be a gentleman? In Xiaoru was angered half to death. I am a selfish profiteer, Li Fan said. I still have to thank Brother In-si for your evaluation of me. Bastard. In Xiaoru was about to explode from anger. This loathsome fellow is too infuriating. It's getting late. Let's continue our journey. As Li Fan spoke, he turned around and walked towards the direction of Soaring Flower Town under the moonlight. In Xiaoru swung her sticky claw again and actually took out the insect repellent from Li Fan's pocket. She fiercely made a face at Li Fan from behind, then proudly rubbed the insect repellent on her body. At the same time, she muttered in her heart, "Humph, do you think that just because you put it in your pocket, this Grandant can't get it?" Li Fan only continued to hurry on with a trace of a smile in his eyes. This little girl really doesn't want to admit defeat. There is no need for me to lower myself to a little girl's level. It's fine as long as she doesn't pester me. Although the mountain road was long, Li Fan and In Xiaoru were both martial artists. They did not know what exhaustion felt like. Finally, they arrived at Soaring Flower Town at the first glimmer of dawn. The usually quiet Soaring Flower Town was a bit different today. There were a few government officials wearing black clothes and black vests in the town, causing the townspeople to look around. Chapter 239. Li Fan and In Xiaoru were not in a hurry to find the owner of the Golden Buddha. Instead, the two of them sat down in the courtyard of a small restaurant in the town. It was a small courtyard with 3 tables inside. Apart from Li Fan and In Xiaoru, there were 3 townspeople sitting at one of the tables. Li Fan and In Xiaoru ordered a bowl of chicken soup and a bowl of scrambled eggs. After the boss served the dishes, In Xiaoru asked casually. After the boss served the dishes, Xiaoru casually asked, "Boss, why are there so many people dressed as government officials in this town?" "I'm not sure, but I heard that old Jin's family committed a crime." The boss was a 40-plus-year-old middle-aged woman. While wiping her greasy hands on her apron, she said, "I heard that old Jin's family had a treasure that belongs to the country and must be handed over. These people seem to be from the government. They said that old Jin was secretly hiding a national treasure and was arrested by these people." Xiaoru and Li Fan looked at each other. The two of them could see the doubt in each other's eyes. Has the genie guards lost their moral integrity? The owner of the Golden Buddha is innocent, but they would actually do such a thing to the owner? Xiaoru seemed to be a little anxious. She wanted to stand up, but Li Fan pressed down on her shoulder. This time, Li Fan smiled and said to the boss, "Boss, why did such a big thing happen in town? I just came from another county to find my uncle. I'm so scared that I don't dare to go." "This is quite scary. Whose family are you two nephews?" The boss seemed to be a little nosy. Li Fan secretly pinched Xiaoru. Xiaoru quickly said, "Old Zhao's family." "Yo, old Zhao's family has such a spirited nephew. It's really rare." The Flying Flower Town was not very big. Therefore, many of the townspeople were familiar with each other. "Boss, where did you find out that these people are from the government?" Li Fan asked. "Last time, when a few people from the government ate here, I secretly overheard their conversation." The boss lowered his voice and said, "I've already told you, don't tell anyone else." After that, she went to serve another table's dishes. Li Fan and Xiaoru could vaguely hear their conversation. "Old Jin's family is in trouble. Don't tell anyone." Well, she had spilled the beans herself. "This is a trap." Li Fan whispered in Xiaoru's ear, "Old Jin should be fine. But I'm afraid that the Jin family has already set up an inescapable net, waiting for you to take the bait." "No, I'm worried." Xiaoru seemed to have lost the calmness of a great thief at this time. "Mr. Jin is my benefactor. I can't just watch him get into trouble." "Calm down. Think about the consequences if you go there rashly." Li Fan reminded Xiaoru, "Even if you're caught, it won't help. But with you here, everything can still be discussed." "I can't sit still. Even so, we still have to sit still." Li Fan continued to remind Xiaoru, "Let's wait for Guanwanbao and the others to come. Don't forget our plan B." "How would I know what your plan B is? I don't like your lousy team at all. It's not ideal, not professional. I've had enough of you. Other than money, you don't care about anything else. I must have been blind to have found you." Xiaoru stood up angrily and walked out of the yard. Li Fan quickly took out the money for the meal, put it on the table, and chased after her. "Young man, coax your wife." The boss even kindly called out to him. Li Fan rolled his eyes and thought, "If I had such a worrisome wife, I would die of anger. In order to live a few more years, it's better to stay away from this girl. When this mission is over, I'll stay away from her." But when Li Fan left the yard, he was surprised to find that Xiaoru was nowhere to be found. This stupid female cat burglar, relying on her qinggong. Where did she go? Li Fan was really angered to death. How did this woman become a great thief? With her personality that couldn't hide things, how could she live until now? Stupid woman. Idiot. Stupid. Li Fan cursed. He probably knew where Xiaoru had gone, so he asked the boss for the location of Mr. Jin's house. Then, he went to Mr. Jin's house. At that time, Xiaoru had already used qinggong and arrived at a big tree near Mr. Jin's house. Xiaoru's body pressed against the highest branch. The branch was very soft, but Xiaoru seemed to be weightless. She only swayed with the branch, but didn't break. Xiaoru felt very uncomfortable. This Li Fan is too selfish and arrogant. How could such a person understand Mr. Jin's kindness to me? In his eyes, money is the most important thing. Since he doesn't want to come, I can save old Mr. Jin by myself. Xiaoru looked at Mr. Jin's yard and found that there was no one there. The big yard was like a dead house, silent. The dust in the yard hadn't been cleaned for a long time, and the fallen leaves were all over the yard. It was so quiet that even the birds didn't want to stay. Xiaoru's heart sank. Something really happened. She looked around and saw that there was no one around. Then, she opened her arms and jumped down from the tree. Like a bird, she landed lightly on Mr. Jin's house. She turned over and landed in the yard again. She stepped on the fallen leaves, but they didn't make any sound. It could be seen that Yin Xiaoru's qigong was excellent. No matter what, her kung fu was the result of real training. Yin Xiaoru landed in front of Mr. Jin's house. She leaned on the door and looked through the glass. Old Mr. Jin was lying on the bed, as if he was fast asleep. Yin Xiaoru looked around again, but there was no one else. It seemed that the news was fake, and Mr. Jin was fine. No matter how powerful the genie guards were, they couldn't attack ordinary people. Since that was the case, it was time for her to fulfill her promise. Yin Xiaoru gently pushed open the window, and then jumped in from the window, landing silently in the room. She came and went like a breeze. She arrived in front of the Buddhist shrine and placed the golden Buddha on it respectfully. Seeing that the golden Buddha was back, Mr. Jin's illness should be mostly healed. Yin Xiaoru thought of Mr. Jin's kindness in the past and couldn't help but feel warm. She quietly walked to Mr. Jin's bed, wanting to see how her benefactor looked. But when she approached, Mr. Jin suddenly turned around and stared at Yin Xiaoru with a pair of eagle-like eyes, causing Yin Xiaoru to tremble. "You're not Mr. Jin. I'm the Death Reaper," he said fiercely. "You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.